good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are on the planet. Welcome to Live Chat 112 here in Brooks's Bass Corner, coming to you live from London town here in the UK. Hope you're all safe and well. Hope your bass playing's going fabulous. Of course, goes without saying. Gareth Harrison, good to see you. Nice and early. Dawson, you too from Canada. Really enjoyed what your Prime Minister said today. Fabulous. Quite right too. Hope you're all good. Hope you're safe and well, wherever you are on the planet. A mixed bag tonight. We'll take all comers. We may have a special guest later, who I was talking to on the phone a little earlier. And I told him we were doing a live chat tonight. And he said, oh, might pop on. So we might have a very special guest. So we will see. He's got an invite, so he can join in when he feels like. So that's all good. Keith Doherty, good to see you too. Hope you're all well. So if this is your first time here on a live chat here on Brooks's Bass Corner, come on in. We're a very welcoming, happy bunch. If you want to talk bass guitars, bass amps, bass effects, you're very welcome. If you've got gear that's playing up, if you need some advice or you're looking for some guidance, maybe you're looking to buy a new bass, maybe you've got some shopping to do, maybe you've got some money burning a hole in your pocket, you want to buy a new bass, new amp, new pedal, some new strings, new gig bag, all of that sort of thing. Come on in, ask away, ask questions. We'll help as much as we can. If I don't know the answer, I'll open it up to the floor. All the regular people that we have here on the live chats here on Brooks's Bass Corner. We're a very friendly bunch, so come and get involved. It's all good. Dawson, request sent. Do your intro if you have to. I will. I'll do that. I'll tell you, Dawson, I'll do my intro and then I'll send you an invite. Okay. Bill Derbyshire, good to see you. So here we are. So last week, let's think. So we had live chat, did a load of editing, took mum to hospital. Friday. Where am Friday? BT came, put in the new connections. They're all here. So it was meant to happen last Monday. The full fibre, Stacey from North Carolina, good to see you. They turned up on Friday morning. I'd literally just woken up, walking around the house looking like a beast out of a hedge with my pajamas on. Knock, knock, knock at the door. Guy from BT Openreach, we're here to do your fibre. We're doing the whole street today. All the people that have got outstanding problems and orders and stuff. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So anyway, they got on and they did it. So I am hoping tonight, so I'm watching on through the StreamYard platform here. I'm hoping this comes to you a little more crisper video image, a little better, a little more, less blocky. Less graphical issues, less sound issues. We are uploading now, I think, about 180 meg. Let me do a quick speed test, I'll tell you. 2 seconds. That's the fella. All right, speed test. Let's have a look. I'll tell you, because last week we didn't get to do this. So, where we are, just going to run this little speed test. Download should be around 750. We're meant to get 900, but we haven't quite hit that figure yet. Oh, it's slow on a Tuesday. Oh, download speed 529. It's not like that on a Friday afternoon, so 529. It's not so great. Upload speed much better than we used to have. We used to have about, I think it was about 13 meg upload, 104 meg. So I'm hoping for you guys, this will all be a little better, a little smoother, less blocky. The sound will be better. Hope so. Fingers crossed. Let me know what you think, how it comes on. Juice, good to see you. Gareth Harrison's there. I don't look like Minecraft. Well, that's a bonus. Or a Lego man, which is great as well. So thank you very much. That's all good. Yes, so that was Friday. Saturday, I had Queen's show in Henley, which went great. We had a blinder. It's going to be gig vlog 15, I think. Let me just check my little list of gig vlog numbers. Yeah, gig vlog 15. Excellent. Right, you're going to enjoy this. So I didn't have high hopes, I have to be honest, when we turned up, and it was part of a rugby festival, and I thought, yeah, it's going to be all right. Won't be anything particularly amazing. We took the roof off the place. We nearly blew the big top that we were playing in out of the field. They went absolutely nuts. So for any of you who joined in, you know that I did an impromptu live chat around about, I think it was about 7:30. Gareth will tell us because he was there. And I had a whale of a time for 40 minutes, basically blocking and reporting people who wanted to come onto our live chat and basically be rude, obnoxious, talk drivel, swear a bit, and be very rude. So a warning to anyone that sort of comes in on, whether it's our weekly live chat here on Tuesdays, or if it's an impromptu live chat when I'm out on a gig, if you're going to come on and be rude, obnoxious, sweary, shouty, and be a bit of a cock, you're going, okay? Don't tolerate that rubbish. I don't mind a bit of a gag and we have some jokes and we're all nice people on it. When you get people who've never been on the channel and they're just coming on to be rude, obnoxious, and generally a bit shitty, I don't tolerate that. Never have, never will. They're just sitting there trolling YouTube channels that are doing live chats. You're off, all right? I reported all your pages. You all got blocked. You won't be here again. Anyway, so I'll try and keep you lovely people nice and safe from these complete bloody idiots that come on. So anyway, done and dusted. We did a live chat. It was okay. We had a good chat. And then literally I went and got changed, loaded onto the stage, bang, 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 did the gig, absolute blast. We were done by, I think, like 13 minutes past 10. I was home before Match of the Day finished. So for those of you watching in foreign climes outside the UK, Match of the Day is the weekly football programme on the BBC on a Saturday after the games in the afternoon. And generally, throughout my whole professional career, 30 years of some repute, if you get home on a Saturday before Match of the Day is finished, you've had a good night. It's a good innings. So I did. I got home. I think I was back here, having dropped the singer at the Tube. I was back here before 20 past 11. So that's a result in my book. That's a Brooksy bonus. So we had a good night that night and got paid the following morning. Even better. So that was all good. Sunday, I went to see I said I'd give him a shout out. Sean Lee, if you're watching, I'm giving you a shout out. Andy Platts, if you're watching, I'm giving you a shout out. I promised I'd do it. Went to see them Sunday. In fact, I'll stand. Oh, I can't. I've got too much stuff. I'm still trying to sort my room out after the BT install. Fabulous band. Love them to death. Fabulous, outstanding albums. New album came out last Friday. Pleasure. Hold on. My copy is here on my desk. If you don't know who I'm talking about, and I don't care where you are on the planet, these guys have got 5 albums. YoungGunSilverFox. Amazing. Amazing. The real deal. Okay, they're out on tour at the moment around the UK promoting the new album. They're all over Europe through the summer doing festivals. They're coming to the US. I think they're only doing 2 shows, one in New York, one in LA. They did a bunch of shows last year and the year before. If you like really good music, you like 70s, 80s, West Coast, Ambrosia, Toto, Steely Dan, Earth, Wind and Fire, Hall & Oates, Carole King, Michael McDonald, Doobie Brothers, all, quality songwriting, great melodies, great hooks, amazing backing vocals, harmonies coming out of the CD. They're a fabulous band. I went to see them at Hoxton Hall on Sunday. First time I'd actually seen them since January 2023. Reason I hadn't seen them since then. Joe, good to see you. Yeah, all cool. I hadn't seen them because every gig they had done in London and in the Southeast since then fell on a date when I was already gigging. So I couldn't go and see them. Past 2 London gigs were on Saturdays when I was out gigging. If your audience generally are musicians, not all of them, but if they are, the worst night you can pick to have your gig is Saturday. So the last 2 London gigs were on Saturdays, one in 2023. I was playing a festival with Uncle Funk. Last one, a clash with an Uncle Funk wedding show. So couldn't go. So this was the first time I'd seen them in 2 years. First time with the new bass player, Paul. And they blew the roof off the place. They were outstanding. I might even go on a YouTube later and do a few clips, let you see, 'cause some people filmed bits and it just looked amazing. So if you haven't checked them out, look them up on social media, look them up on YouTube, go to Spotify, check out the albums. There's 5 albums. There's some B-sides and some sort of one-off things that they've done. Andy Platts, the singer, is also in Mama's Gun, so if you know of that band. But he's also a prolific songwriter out in Asia and the Far East. So very big in South Korea, apparently. What's his background? Songwriter with Rod Temperton. Did Michael Jackson albums. Yeah, the guy that wrote most of the tunes for Thriller, Off the Wall. Andy used to co-write with him. He's got writing credits coming out of his ears. Andy and Sean, responsible for writing the title track from the Last Take That album. They've got credibility. This material is off the charts. I said I'd give you a shout out, boys. So if you're in the UK, their tour dates, let's just check. So they've got a couple of nights off. And then they're back out on the road. They're going all over the country. So, hang on, there's more than that. There's more dates than that. Come on. There we go. So they're playing actually a place I played with Uncle Funk back in November, a place called the Marine Theatre down in Lyme Regis, and that's on Sunday, I think. Then they're at the Fleece in Bristol next Monday. They're at the Hare and Hounds, Kings Heath in Birmingham, which is where I saw them in 2023. You can check them out on Bandcamp. You can buy the CDs, you can download, you can buy the merch. They're at Manchester Academy 3 on the 15th of May. King Tut's Wah Hut in Glasgow on the 16th. What's that say? Brudenell Social Club in Leeds, May the 18th. Then they're off to Italy, playing at Blue Note in Milan on the 22nd of May. Mojo Club in Hamburg on the 23rd. Steffi, if you're watching, you need to see this band. You need to go and see them. Then they're playing Ribs and Blues in Raalte in Netherlands on June 7th. Zoider Park Theatre at The Hague in Holland on June the 8th. Tricks, Antwerp, Belgium on the 10th. You can just see all the dates here. And more festivals through the summer. And then they're in New York, Brooklyn Bowl on June the 26th. Troubadour in West Hollywood on June 28th. And then there's no dates listing there till September. Just go and check them out if they're down your way. Ticket prices are very, very reasonable. Saturdays was the most expensive gig I've seen them at here in London. It's worth every penny. But before Sunday's gig, the most I ever paid to go and see them was 13 quid. First gig I saw them at in 2019, which was Nell's in Kensington, £8.50. It's a bargain. You will love the music. Check them out. Have a look on YouTube. Have a look on Spotify. Have a look at their social media. You'll love it. I guarantee it. Amazing backing vocals. Horns on some of the gigs as well. We got horns on Sunday. I know Ipswich didn't get horns on Friday. We did. We got the horns, so that's fabulous. Right, let's go through these messages. Jeffrey Boyle, good to see you. Welcome. Stacey, I don't get the intentionally crap behaviour. Well, people are pissed up a bit and drugged up a bit, and they're behind a keyboard and a screen, and they can say what they like. But as I said, I blocked them, reported their profiles, so we'll see. Gareth, just be nice and let us torment them in the comments. Well, I can't be asked. Well, when I'm doing the impromptu live chats, I'm on 9:16 ratio. And the problem is the crap comments on Saturday, as I was finding, were going bip, 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 and it was filling up the comments feed, so I couldn't see the good comments from the bad. And it just got too much, so it's like, no, they're going. There's Joe. Good to see you. Juice, sounds good. Added to playlist for tomorrow's commute. You'll love it, Juice. really. 5 albums. First album is West End Coast. Second album's AM Waves. Third album is Canyons. Fourth album, which was the last one, which is my favourite, if I'm honest, which is A Ticket to Shangri-La. Latest album, Pleasure. Joe, didn't the chap with long hair have a deal with Talking Loud? He may well still do. He does loads of stuff. He also broadcasts on Soho Radio. And Sean's got his fingers in many pies, does lots of albums and all sorts. Lovely guy, too. Stacey, Rod Temperton did Heatwave, so Boogie Nights and all those numbers. He was the keyboard player in Heatwave. Hello, Steffi. Good to see you. So I just gave you a shout out, Steffi. You need to check out YoungGunSilverFox when they're playing Hamburg, if you can. Juice, Broodnor is a great grassroots venue, regular trip north for us. They play really good venues, I have to say. And Hoxton Hall on Sunday was perfect size venue for them. I've seen them, saw them at Nell's, saw them at Jazz Cafe, saw them at Scala here in London. Saw them at Lafayette, which was great, and then saw them up in Birmingham at Hare and Hounds. But Sunday's venue, Hoxton Hall, was great, really good. Loads of videos popping up on YouTube. If you follow me on social media, I posted up Stevie and Sly, which is like the headline single from this album, on there from Sunday. And the reaction to that song at the end was so loud. You could tell it affected them. And I had a chat with Sean on Messenger yesterday. And I said, did that translate? Did you cop that? He said, oh, don't worry, that registered. He said that was, you don't get that reaction every gig. And what can I say? They're fabulous. Gareth, any tips for playing reggae bass? Just trying to diversify a little and struggling to get the offbeat feel. It's practice, mate. All us white guys have to do it. And it's true. There's a couple of kind of there's sort of ways of playing. You can play like an octave thing. So you play your root, your fifth, your eighth, your octave, sorry. So, so ba 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 ba. So you have those. It really is a case of listening. You want to be listening to loads of Bob Marley, Steel Pulse, Aswad. There's loads of it out there. Literally, go on Spotify and just let it do a shuffle. You'll pick all this stuff up. It's a case of listening to it. I don't tend to play much of it. It was quite prominent in the charts, sort of 70s, 80s. Occasionally in the 90s, you might get a tune here and there. It's just practice and exposing yourself, listening to it, having it on in the background. A lot of those feels for reggae, a lot of the parts, you'll start to hear similarities, and there are common sort of triads, little arpeggio things that you can play. A lot of Police stuff. Yep, Joe, exactly. Listen to Police. Sting was ripping off reggae in a punk band, a new wave band. That's what it was. Any other tips? If you can find a drummer, and you're in Manchester, there should be a bit of a reggae community around there. Just go and check out some reggae bands, and you'll get a feel for it. Check it out on YouTube. You know, it's listening to it. But like I say, once you start listening to it and listen to it a lot, you'll hear similarities, and certain lines just get used over and over again in certain songs, just around different chord structures. We use, some UB40 wouldn't go amiss. If you've, sometimes some reggae can just be, I don't want to say it gets boring. It doesn't, but sometimes you'll listen to a tune and they're just riffing around for like 8, 9, 10 minutes. If you want more song-based kind of reggae, listen to some UB40. There's plenty of sort of poppy song reggae there. Musical Youth. Sometimes we have Delano Mills on here, and up until recently he was the bass player for Musical Youth. So all that stuff. Just soak yourself up in it, and eventually what goes in there and computes up here will come out there. It just does, and just play along with it. That's the best way. Other than that, that's all I can really help you with there. If Delano comes on, and he might, we can ask him, what do you recommend? Playing it EQ wise, well, you can take your treble right down for a start. Lots of bass. If you are playing live and you're not going via the PA, you're going to need some cabinets with 15s, maybe even an 18 if you can. But 15s will do it. Stay away from 410s, 212s, 412s. You get a load of bottom end out of that. So generally stick to heavier gauge. Can't remember too many reggae bands playing with 3090s, that's for sure. 4505 will do it. Really, you're just going for bottom end, low frequencies. Clarity isn't the name of the game. Take your pick of basses. Your precision will do the job perfectly well. Aston Barrett from Bob Marley's band swore by jazz basses most of his career. So you can find all those tones. You're going for plumminess. Sometimes, again, depends who you're playing with. You don't want to overdo it. Sometimes they don't want heaps of it. But if you look at a lot of reggae sound systems, it's lots of 15 and 18-inch drivers. More bottom end. The more they can feel it, the better. But again, if you're being conveyed through the PA, you maybe don't need to be pushing so much power and just let the guy doing the sound do it. But you'll feel your way through it. It's a feel. Reggae, it tends to be more of a feel thing. It's not a technical thing, but you've got to get the feel right. And if you muck it up, you muck it up. And keep it simple. It's not about busy. It's about locking in with the drums and you're staying there. You're not going over the top with your playing. No picks either. I can't remember too many reggae bands with picks. Although I say that, and Sting used to use a pick a lot. But then he was competing with Stuart Copeland on drums, so he needed some attack on the strings to kind of come through. But just sort of jump in and enjoy the journey, I would say, for that. But yeah, immersing yourself in it, just having like a reggae playlist and listen to it. There's lots of different strands of it. It's not all the same. And if you can hook up with a guy who plays in a reggae band and ask him for some, what are you listening to? What do you get inspired by? May well sort of put some artists your way that he would know of that I personally wouldn't, but just enjoy the journey, I'd say. Let's see. Right, let's just check the stream health. Check we're all good. Okay, that's all fine. Right, that bit's good. Live stream health is excellent. That's what we like to hear. Very good. So for many of you, you'll be watching this on YouTube. I don't think I've broadcast this on Facebook today. No, I haven't. Just doing YouTube. Okay, I put a couple of posts up on the community tab a couple of days ago. So it seems to be a trend on YouTube at the moment for people. There's a couple of creators who have become very big and exploded, not bass creators, but other creators who've basically just been filming ad hoc with no production, no graphics, no text, no fancy editing or stuff. They'll do a level of editing, but it's not fancy stuff. And they've blossomed. Their channels have just gone bang through the roof. And it's becoming more and more a thing with YouTube educators that creating without polish seems to be not necessarily a fad, but it's become what a lot of viewers want. And I wanted to ask, so I did these two posts. So are you watching the shorts that I post up? Some people do, some people don't. And there was a second part to that, which was if I produced shorts, although this could also refer to live long form video as well. If I sat here in front of the various amps and cabs and amplifiers I've got and plugged in with any of the basses I've got and produced little 60-second demos, not reviews, but they're demos of those basses going through those amps. So I might like do 10, or say, for example, pick a bass out of the rack, do 5 shorts, different playing styles, different EQ, to give you an idea of how that bass sounds, how it works, what the controls do, and what have you. And also to start getting into using the amps, because I don't tend to do a lot of that here on the channel. So that poll is active. So tell me, would that be useful to you? There's a yes and there's a no. That's the only 2 options. If not, then that's fine. I'll scrap that idea. But if it's something you would go for, then let me know. All you got to do is cast your vote. It's I'm just very wary. It's taken me a lot of time to get content out regularly because of the editing, and life gets in the way. Whereas if I'm just filming on a camera without fancy mics, without the fancy audio interface, and I just recorded it either on my phone camera or on my Canon here, is that something you want? Or do you want the polish, the lovely clear sound, the nice visuals? Is that what people want? Some people won't watch a YouTube video if it's not edited properly and it hasn't got all the gubbins going with it. Whereas some people just go, yeah, actually all I want is simplicity. I just want to hear what a bass and an amp is doing, what a pedal's doing. So let me know. Let me know. Gareth, that's a yes from you. Excellent. Super stuff. Right, let's send this invite to Dawson. I think that's you there. It is. Right, let's do that. And we want to do that. There you go, Dawson. That's coming through to you. So, yes, let me know on the poll. That would be very helpful. In fact, let me just go through so I can monitor that, because I can't see the poll on StreamYard. There we go. Right, we'll turn that volume off. Very good. Okay, so we've got... well, it doesn't tell me how many people have voted. It just gives me a percentage. Bill Derbyshire, you'd be very interested in that sort of thing. Okay, I think I might have to do a few as an experiment and see how it goes. If it works, it means I can just post up more content more frequently and quicker. At the moment, doing all the editing, eventually I'll get to a point where I can outsource the editing, but we don't make enough money from the channel at the moment to be able to afford to do that. So I have to do it all. And when things happen in life, like take my mum to the hospital and all that sort of thing, suddenly the output here from the channel slows down, as you've probably noticed. So I'm just trying to see if there's a way, if that's something that people would find. I don't want to put content out that people aren't interested in. It doesn't do my analytics any good. But if it means, whether it was shorts or even a long form, I can do those. And it doesn't mean the quality stuff won't happen. It still will. But I can actually maintain an upload schedule that actually works for you fine people out there. So let me know. And if you're watching this after the event, you can still contribute. Send me a comment and I'll respond to it as soon as I see it. I know we talked about this just as we went into lockdown, Bill. There's Dawson. I'll add you. 2 seconds. You were one of the first people that replied when I posted up as we went into lockdown about doing demos and reviews to give people an idea of how things sounded before I even started this YouTube channel. So, yeah, okay. Right, Dawson, let me get my headphones so I can hear you. Yeah, that's the plug. Don't drag that adapter off the desk. There we go. I need to bring you to screen. There we are. Talk to me, my man, so I can hear you.
Hello, testing. 1, 2, 3.
Yes, it's working. Fabulous. How you doing?
Good. I got some good news today.
Let's hear it.
On next Thursday, the 15th, I'm going to see the Gene Simmons band in Niagara Falls.
Excellent. So he's doing his tour over there. He cancelled his tour over here.
Yeah, he canceled about half the tour.
Yeah. Cool. Excellent stuff. Excellent. Where are you seeing him?
It's at the OLG stage in Niagara. It's this big casino
Mm-hmm.
uh, theater. It's a big theater, and
Okay.
yeah, I just got the news today, so
Super
I'm gonna
stuff.
go down there.
Good man. Got your tickets.
I'll get them on next Friday.
Excellent. Good. Enjoy.
Thank you,
Enjoy with your Kiss hat on.
and the shirt.
That's it. Exactly that. Good stuff. Well done. Well done. Is it? Are you? Have you got VIP stuff, or are you just sort of going as a general punter?
No, I got some comp tickets.
Oh, good man.
Yeah.
Excellent. Enjoy. Enjoy. You can give us a full report after
Okay, I'd love
the
to.
week after. Yeah. Cool. Cool. So, how's your week been?
It's been pretty good. The sun's
Yeah.
out, getting out there.
Nice.
And yesterday I went to a monthly songwriting circle. So we
Mm-hmm.
have a group of guys I used to play in a band with, and then some new people, and we get together. We write our songs, we get our guitars, and then we share what we got. So
Oh, great.
that was
Good
uh,
stuff.
that was a good time yesterday.
Superb. Superb. So, you playing some bass in that?
That one is it's mostly just singing. Like if I just have some notes and I have my songs, and I'll sing it out loud. I might pick a
Okay.
guitar and just strum there. I was playing my bass about last week, so I was playing my bass last week. But I always try to be involved musically, just as a musician, be
Mm.
well rounded.
Oh, great. Great. And what does do any of the other guys play bass and bring gear in? Do they bring their gear with them?
So that one's more of a simple, unplugged kind of thing. But my friend CD, he would play bass sometimes in our open jams. This was years ago. He usually play bass, and then I'd play guitar or I'd play bongos. Um, and then he would let me play his bass, and we'd kind of have take turns.
Okay. Cool. Cool. And nice people to work with.
Oh yeah, oh great, yeah,
Cool. Great.
fantastic.
Great. I'm just going to do. I realise I haven't said this today, but so Dawson's here live talking on camera. Of course, he's here part of the live stream. If you want to join in, you can. All you got to do, there's an email ticker running along the bottom of the screen here. So email me at brooksysbasecorner@gmail.com. I then send you an invite. You click on the invite and you come in here live. You can actually join in on this live chat if you wish. So we will accept anyone that's wanting to come on here talk bass. So it's all good. Let's see. Gareth. Yes, he talking about Gene Simmons. He charged a ridiculous amount to be his tech for the day. He did, and from what I've heard, he's not processing refunds either. So people, I think it was about £12,500 to be his tech for the day.
Yeah,
Wow, talk about getting people to do the job for and make money on it. Goodness me, and then not pay the refunds. How about that? Wowzers. Wowzers. There we are. Bizarre. Bizarre. So, what have you been up to during the week?
that's pretty much it.
Yeah? Okay. Anything at the weekend? Go to any bars? See any bands?
Yeah, so on the weekend, I should be seeing a rock review band. So I know the guitar player. He's really good. He's been around the scene for a long time. My friend from last night invited me. So on
Mm-hmm.
Saturday, I should be going down there, and they're going to be playing. It's like a tribute to Hotel California, but they're
Mm-hmm.
going to be playing Eagles, Fleetwood Mac, probably some Bob Seger, and some Jimi Hendrix. So
Okay.
it's going to be. He said he's really good, and we're going to see him on Saturday, and maybe next Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
and it might be this recurring thing. So it's
Ah,
good to be in
cool.
the scene, doing some
Yeah.
networking, as they say.
Cool. Okay. It's all good. It's all good. What happened about that track you were talking about? You said there would be a track, a YouTube video.
So that track. So far, it's on pace for Sunday. Yeah, because it's
Excellent.
or no, it'll be Tuesday, so it'll be next Tuesday. As I said, 2 weeks, and
Hmm.
yeah, I have all the music, I have all the visuals, so I just want to put them in a sequence that makes it look really cool. It's going to
Mm.
start off with I have footage of Willie Nelson's tour bus. So it's going to be
Okay.
like Willie Nelson's tour bus rolling in, and then and me playing here. It's going to be like me going into the farm almost, and then it's going to transform. I have some AI images of some tractors. So it's going to be like going from the past, Willie
It's a bit
Nelson,
like
so
Animal
real my
Farm.
footage, and then into the future of like this AI footage, and then
Yeah.
back to me playing, and then some harmonica and guitars and some backing tracks, and then I'll have some cool stuff for the bridge part. I have
Yeah.
to put the I should have some probably footage of me in Alberta. Yeah, me in
Okay.
the plains of Alberta, because there's like this farming scene, and it's like it's really Canadian, and it's really like the start of me making these other music videos other than Alda Nova. That's just really futuristic. So now it's me going back to the start, like farming, very
Mm.
natural farmlands, and then going back into the future.
Okay. Cool. Look forward to seeing it next week. You say
Next Tuesday.
next Tuesday, right?
This will be one
I'll
week
put
from
it in
now.
my diary. I'm waiting.
Okay. All
Dawson's
right.
new
Looking
video.
forward.
Good stuff.
So I
Good
was
stuff.
wondering, have you ever played the axe bass before, like the Gene Simmons axe
No,
bass?
I haven't, but a very good friend of mine, Gary Banton, who's he doesn't come here on the live chats, but anyway, came with me to Young Gun Silver Fox on Sunday. He used to do the Gene Simmons thing in a Kiss tribute for about 25 years.
Whoa.
He's got basically one of each of the basses that Gene Simmons has ever used. So he has all the axes, all the you know, the paraphernalia basses, you might call them. So the axe, just I mean, he's used so many. He used a different one every time we went out. Gary has all those in his collection. So I haven't, but he has. And I'm sure actually, if I asked him, said to him, you know, lend me that for a show, he probably would, or he'll come here and be on it while I'm using it. But yeah,
Wow.
he has. So I have access to all of that if I needed it. I don't know where he keeps it all. He's got more bass, well, a lot more basses than I have. He's probably got, he's definitely got more than double, maybe treble. So you know how many basses I've got. So yeah, he's got double or treble that amount.
Well, hey, maybe the
Mm.
couple Uncle Funk gigs from now, there might be
I'm
a
not using an
surprise.
axe. No, 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 no. I've got enough problems with the Bootsy bass. Don't worry about that. But I need to sort that out very quickly because my next Uncle Funk show is where are we? So one, two, yeah, 2.5 weeks away. So I have to find a solution for this because I want it sorted before we go into summer, so I can start using it. Gareth says your tune sounds like it's something the Wurzels would do. So Gareth Dawson won't know who the Wurzels are, Gareth. So we used to have a band here. Well, kind of they're still around. They still go out on tours. They had some hits in the 70s. They were West Country based. So what you're describing is kind of what their thing was based around as well. It's a similar kind of thing. Yeah. But they still go out. They still go out and do tours. They're old men now. They're like in the late 70s, early 80s, but they still go out. It's an income. You see, keep going. But they haven't had hits in years. Although I say that, a lot of their tunes now get used on TV commercials. So they're still, whoever wrote their stuff, I'm sure it probably wasn't them,
Hmm.
still makes money from it. So,
Maybe it was Ted Tepperman.
oh, probably highly likely, highly likely.
That's a
But
great story. Wow, like that. Those guys from Silver Fox, you know, they must have worked with.
oh, no, that's Rod Temperton.
Okay, yeah, Rod Temperton. Yeah,
So
that guy's a legend.
he was the keyboard player for Heatwave, and because of Heatwave, Quincy Jones then decided he wanted to bring him on board into his production team. And that's how he ended up writing stuff for Michael Jackson and. That's how that all worked.
Wow.
So the singer from YoungGunSilverFox, I don't know what the full. In fact, let's see what's online. But he co-wrote a song called Moonlight with Rod Temperton. It got sort of, the tapes got put to one side, never used. And then a couple of years ago, clearly Andy was having a bit of a clear out of material, or looking through stuff that had been written and not used. And this song came out, and I remember hearing it because they put it up as a streaming tune first, and then it got released as a limited 45-inch single. I think there was 100. I got one at a gig. And then they used it as an extra track on the reissue deluxe of the last album. And it's called Moonshine. It's fabulous. Right, so here it says, Andy Platt's a British songwriter, vocalist known for his work with bands like Mama's Gun, YoungGunSilverFox, as well as his songwriting collaborations with legendary figures like Rod Temperton. Here we go. After having signed his first publishing deal with Zomba back in 2006, soaking up experience from writing with legends such as Rod Temperton and John Oates. Okay. I knew this stuff, but I didn't know what the background of it was. Platts first started releasing music in 2007. Oh, there you go. I just wonder if they were able to flesh out a bit more of the Rod Temperton. Let's have a look. There might be some in the description box of this video on YouTube. Let's see. Nope, there ain't nothing there. There'll probably be something on their Facebook page talking through the story. If you go back to, it would be late 2022, early 2023. And that song then started getting incorporated into the set list, although they didn't play it on Sunday. But it's a cracker.
John Oates is pretty good too.
Yeah, exactly. Gareth, one of the Wurzel's biggest hits was called Combine Harvester. I know. I think I've actually done a gig on the same lineup as them. I think when I used to do the glam rock tribute band, it's 30 years ago. I think we might have done like a couple of university bashes, and they were on the lineup. Such a long time ago now. It is. The brain's fading.
Well, there'll be
rapidly,
a combine harvester on my music video.
Yeah, exactly. Go find one. There'll be one in a field at some point. But yeah, so that's kind of the news. I'm trying to think what else there was going on this week. What have I got coming up? I'm doing a Queen show up in Norton Lindsay this weekend. And then the week after, I'm with Radio Gaga at the Marina Theatre in Lowestoft. Yep. And then the week after that, I've got Definitely Might Be, which is an Oasis tribute, in Orpington in Kent. And the following day, which is the 24th, we've got Uncle Funk playing a wedding show down in West Country. So it's all go. It's all go. Now we're into summer, into May. Festivals start kicking in. All the private parties and weddings and all that sort of caper. So it's all good. Now, also, tonight's title on the live chat on YouTube talks about networking. How to unlock your musical career. So I said a couple of months ago, I did a video which was 5 things I wish I told myself or could have told myself 30 years ago when I started. And one of the things, in fact, I think the first thing I even mentioned on that video is networking. And it is so vitally important. And here I am now, 30 years on, and it's still important. So a couple of days ago, a guy I've known on social media, but we've never conversed, we've never messaged, never talked, never phone called, nothing. Posted a photo of him doing a gig at the Request show that I do in Greek Street. And so he was there last Thursday. I was there on Friday, and some of the people he played with, I know him and I know him. And I thought, this is mad. I really should say hello. So I messaged him on Messenger. I said, hey, how you doing? I've known of you since Facebook started. And I'm sure you were in London before that. So as it turned out, he moved here from Brazil in 2002. But I've known of him on Facebook since 2008. I said, we work in a lot of the same bands. We dep in similar bands. Our friend lists are virtually identical. We know all the same people. This is mad. We've never said hello. He said, well, I know who you are through your name, and I see your things on my feed. And I said, well, we need to hook up. We need to say hello and all of that. So anyway, today, this bass player, exceptionally busy guy, we went and had coffee. Actually, we had more than coffee. We had lunch. And a friend of his was a drummer that I worked with 3 years ago. And I said, you do realise, like 23 years of, we could have reciprocated a lot of depping work between each other. We just didn't. Because invariably as bass players, you don't meet on gigs. It's very rare. Most bands, one bass player, unless you're doing a gig where one band's coming in and one's going out, or you're on a festival, you don't meet. And unless someone introduces you, the whole cold calling thing of Facebook in the early days where people would just go, hello, my name's John, I like your bass playing, we should be friends. That doesn't really work in these days. It's got a bit more sophisticated than that. So anyway, we met and we had a right old blast today. Lots of chat, lots of very good industry networking connections and things. So thank you very much, Keita Stoyer. Pleasure to meet you. Fabio, if you're there, drummer, super. We will do that again very shortly. So networking, a perfect example is this. It is so important. I can't stress it enough. And you get a lot of people, and it was certainly the case in the early days of Facebook, where you would get musicians and they would literally add, or back in those days, we didn't know, shut your friends list down, because people were going in and literally copying everyone's friends list and trying to make friends with all your contacts, which fine. But they didn't know them. They hadn't been introduced. And you literally every day get like 20 friends requests from people you'd never heard of. It's like, I don't know you. Oh, well, I'm a bass player and I'm a great dep and da-da-da-da. I'll be the judge of that. Where, I'll put you on a gig and you either sink or swim. And that's kind of how it works. Nowadays, it's a little different. People are a bit more sort of security conscious, if I can call it that. But it's so vitally important. It's hard as bass players, again, because very often we're the only bass player on a gig. And unless friends or bass players are in the audience, you're not going to network. And sometimes you just have to bite the bullet and sort of send people a message and say, hi, I'm aware of you. Or we work for the same people and we've worked in bands. But again, our paths aren't going to cross because there's never going to be two of us doing the same job on the gig.
Yeah, something in common.
Yeah, but so today was a good example of that. It worked really good. Very good. Hang on, someone's sending me something here. What's this? Bill Derbyshire. Jesus Christ. Sorry, pardon my language. He just sent me a picture. Actually, I'll share this. So you'll all probably have the same reaction. That's a crazy ass picture.
It's probably him with Gene Simmons.
No. Let me take the banner down. It's a Warwick bass, custom affair. Is that yours, Bill? Surely not. I think I have a Warwick bass with more neck dive than your Bootsy bass. Is that really yours? Or is that you found that online? That's outrageous. Again, you see a lot of it, unless people know what the Warwick brand is, that would be wasted. And especially on a dark stage, you wouldn't see the W very well. But yeah, wow. Yeah, not sure it's going to balance on your knee, though, if you're sat down playing. That W, it's going downwards. There's no curve to it. Bizarre.
Looks like something that Prince would use.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Wow. That's crazy. There we go. How bizarre. How bizarre. Yes. Oh dear. It cost you $250. Oh, okay. So someone's just made it like that. Very good. W for the Wurzels. Exactly, Juice. Well said. So where do you use that, Bill? I'm intrigued. You play that down the Dog and Ferret on a Sunday, I bet. Brown Eyed Girl and American Pie have never sounded so good. A nice set of DR green neons on there as well, because you need that. That's like the finishing touch. Next time, go for the pinks. They're really bright. Or some orange. Some orange will go lovely with that. Beautiful. Well done.
Play
Thank
it
you
down
for
at the
that
pub,
share.
get some fish and chips.
That's it. And pickled gherkin if you're lucky. Wowzers. That's a hell of a bass. Well, fair dues to you if you go out and play with that. I applaud you, sir. It's given my Bootsy bass a run for its money. Now, if you'd done it in bright neon pink, then Mr. Pink Bassman would have had that. He'll be along later. He's a little busy up until 10 o'clock. So, anyway, it's just gone 10 to 9 here in London town, here in the UK. This is live chat 112 on Brooks's Bass Corner. Hope you're safe and well. Hope your bass playing's going fabulously. Anyone got any new gear? Anyone bought anything new? How's that new bass doing, Bill, that you won? All going good? Now you've had it for a couple of weeks. Let me know. No new purchases here. I got cleared out after the Spectre 2 weeks ago. It's all good. Although I say that, I may be popping into Bass Direct this weekend when I'm en route to my my Queen show. So you can never say there won't be another purchase. You never know. Bill Dubship, it was a Chinese-made Warwick for their 30-year anniversary. I had to get it as my name is William. Well, quite right. So how did you get hold of it? How did you get hold of that? You got given a big muff, which you mentioned on Saturday. Yes, you did. It's not every man that can get given a big muff, I'm afraid. So well done, you. Well done, you, Gareth Harrison. And thank you for announcing that as well. It's cheered me up no end. Yeah, so how did you come to own that, Bill? Do you need to get over to Bass Direct, pick up another GR bass cab? How many have you got? You got one already and getting a second, or have you got more? Ah, you got it through Bass. Right, okay. You got that bass second hand through Bass Direct for 250 quid. Was it just the fact they couldn't shift it? I guess it has a limited audience. You've just got the 112. Are you getting another 112 juice? Is that so? You've got a pair.
Yeah, you can't have just one bass cab.
Well, a 112 is only going to get you so far. And generally, if you have then two, clearly it's the same as a 212. The only difference is you're in smaller cabinets, so there's a little less bass power and bass presence, because a bigger cab will give you a better dispersal of bass frequencies. So having them in smaller boxes means you're losing that element, but GR stuff's pretty good. You're not going to lose out there in terms of quality of sound, I would say, in my professional opinion. Juice, yes, you're pairing it with another 112 running from Mark Bass Evo. Okay. Let us know how you get on. Hope it does what you need it to do. Bill, you have a reputation for buying the ugly basses. I know who to come knocking on then when I'm ready to shift the Bootsy bass. Gareth Harrison, your preference is a 210 for most of your gigs. I've done many a duo gig and many quiet pub gigs with a 210. Never had a problem with 210 cabinets. I know some players use multiple 210s instead of using a 410. Easier transportation and carrying and all that sort of thing. But again, if you use two 2x10 cabinets, you forfeit the benefit of having one larger box. And for some people, it has to be that way for the weight issues. But a larger cabinet will just give you a better bottom end and a more focused mid range. But to be honest, technology is changing at such a rate that they're now making cabinet design well, you know, barefaced cabinets are kind of cornering the market on that. Smaller cabinets, bigger dispersal. Stacy saying that they are unique. Quite. So have you taken that W bass out? Have you used that in public? I'm interested to know. See, I've never had I mean, for God's sake, for years I went around with a it's there, isn't it? I've moved one of my, sorry, I'm off mic. I moved one of my racks to accommodate this new BT stuff. So the one rack's gone this way. So for years I was mooching that around. So, you know, you can imagine the comments. I didn't care. But a coral pink Kabiki was my axe of choice. I got some looks, I can tell you. We can't have a bass like that in this band. I heard that several times. Never mind. We're here now, aren't we? Wolfhands, good to see you. You got an old Ashdown Mini 4x8. They were good cabs. UK made. Very unusual cab and sound. Not a bad sound, just unique. Yeah. 8-inch drive is always going to be that way. I mean, I would always pair a cab like that with a 212, and that will give you the best of both worlds. But yeah, that's all right. That's all right. 4x8 would be very easy to carry around, so all good, I would say.
The way I would describe the Kiss bass lines, it's usually a few chords, and then during the sentence of the verse, and then they would do some tracking, like dung 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 dung, and then maybe at the end of a sentence, there would be a bass fill, like ring ding 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 ding, and then down down down, and then a couple the tracking, like a chugging, and then maybe another kind of bass line. That's how I would describe Kiss's kind of bass playing.
Yeah, there was a period during sort of the 80s and 90s where actually it wasn't Gene Simmons on the records. They had session guys come in and do the bass parts. But yeah, they Kiss have their own style, you know, and their way of writing and kind of his way of playing, for the most part, is, you know, 1/4 of what makes that band sound how it sounds. And he has his own style of playing. But see, I've never been a big Kiss fan. In theory, I should be, because I'm a big Queen fan. I like the bombast and the epicness and all of that. I just never got into their songs. none of my friends were ever into it. So I never kind of really got exposed to it. And the weird thing is, I knew Gary at school. I never had a clue Gary liked Kiss. But he was 2 years older than me. So we only met through the house music competition at our school. And, but he was already into them at that point. And I think it was the bombast, the big show, you know, epic sort of production that kind of sort of drew him in. But yeah, it was never really on my radar. I knew of Kiss like late 70s, early 80s. But I didn't hear any record, you know, unless you went and bought the albums, you wouldn't have heard it. They weren't on the singles chart. You wouldn't hear any of that stuff. Bill Derbyshire, Stacey Ann, that's what I tell my good lady. I've used it at jams, but for gigs I use proper basses. I've heard that term many times, Bill. Proper basses, proper gear. I remember turning up with my Fender Marcus Miller Jazz when I just bought it in 2005. And the singer in my band going, "Oh, you got a proper bass at last." I went, No. I said, this is far under the stuff I normally bring. Empathies, GBs, Kabikis. What else did I have then? Cool, forgotten. 5-string Stingrays, Marcus Miller Jazz. As lovely as it is, wasn't the same level as those. So don't give me all that proper basses nonsense. Joe, I played a theatre gig with just a Bareface 112 and a GK MB200 head. Sounded huge. I told you that head was good. It's amazing how much volume you can get these days from silly little amps and cabs. Correct. I used my GK, which is over there, with a EBS 212 Neo cab for a couple of months, actually. When was that? 2012, I think. When one of my EBS heads was off being repaired, and it was huge. Did loads of gigs with that, and I suddenly thought, why am I using the big head? But the Fafner, the EBS Fafner head, has a sound of its own, and I love it. And the GK, for all it was, isn't a Fafner, but it very nice. And I took it to Middle East gigs when I was away for a month. Served its purpose. Been fabulous. £200 well spent. That was. Gareth, there's a great clip of Carol Kay giving Gene Simmons a bass lesson. Yeah, I've seen it.
That's a good one.
Many times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put him right in his place. Juice, agreed, Joe. No need for 8 10s and a chiropractor appointment every Monday. Not these days. Used to be. Not anymore. Not anymore. You can buy big heavy gear if that's the sound you like, but you've got all the physical implications of transporting it around. Not for me. Stacy says rock on, Bill. Cool. Pink Bassman will be along in a bit. Excellent. Bill Derbyshire. Bass cab preferences is a PJB. Oh, Phil Jones bass cab 67. Very good. It's all good gear. Stacy, Gareth. Yes, that's an epic clip.
Brooksy, I have to get going soon.
Okay, my man. Right. I'm looking
I
forward
actually
to
have a
tuning your
networking
video
event
next
to go
week.
to. Oh, go ahead.
So I'm looking forward to your tune and video next week.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I'm going to a networking event tonight. Actually,
Okay.
yeah, I know. There's someone there. He's a music promoter. He's brought in some pretty big acts and for some pretty
Okay.
big shows. Nice guy, and I'm just glad to have some on my Rolodex. As long as you've got some contacts there, I got them on the Rolodex, and when you're ready for the time to present that, then hey, I'm on the list.
Very good. All right, so well, look, go and have a good week. We'll catch up with you next week.
I got the Kiss
very
Symphony,
nice. Oh, there
and
you go.
I got the
Have you got one of those? You should go out like that on a Friday.
I'm gonna dress up.
That's it, definitely. Get the makeup on, bit of slap, it'd be lovely.
Oh, one more thing. What did the Prime Minister say today?
Never, 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 never to Mr. Trump.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, it's not going to be happening.
That's good.
Fabulous music to my ears.
Yep.
You won't be the 51st state. Don't worry about that.
Oh,
He'll
no,
be out of
no
power
worries at
before
all.
that gets any traction. Very good.
The only good music to my ears is Kiss and some good Brooksy's bass corner. So
yeah, go check out YoungGunSilverFox. You'll love it.
YoungGunSilverFox. Okay, thanks so much. Say hi to Pink Bassman for me, and
I will do.
The other special guest if he comes along, and have a good rest of your day there.
If he does come along, the special guest, you'll be able to watch the live chat afterwards. So worth checking it out and just running it on double speed and see if he does appear. In fact, let me just check, see if he is coming on. He might have sent me a message. Let's have a look. So I'm not wasting you checking it out. Oh, he hasn't messaged. Fair enough. He hasn't messaged. He's busy, but he might come on. We were talking at length earlier. Yeah, stay tuned.
Peace.
All right, mate. See you soon. Take care. And that was Dawson. Wolf hands. There isn't a need, but there's a definite want. Nothing sounds and feels like a cranked Ampeg 810 fridge behind you. Yeah, I've been down that Ampeg route several occasions on live chats here. I've played so many different Ampeg products over the years, and there's never any consistency for me. So I find it very hard to... I've had really good ones. I've had really dreadful sounding ones, and everything in between. So it's a bit hard for me to always give it a ringing endorsement. I love Dean over in the US, Dean, if you watch him. And but every time I've ever had Ampeg on a gig or hired in gear or in a studio or rehearsal, I never know what I'm getting. It's yeah. Anyway, that's my take. George Iliadis, good to see you. Good evening, morning. Evening here, morning for you before you go to work. Stacey, Canada will always be Canada. There we go. There we go. And the Gulf of Mexico will always be the Gulf of Mexico. That'll rattle a few cages. We'll start getting a bunch of numbskulls suddenly flying in now. Bring it on. And then I can report your channel and block you. Like I did on Saturday. That was an entertaining old impromptu live chat, that one. If you haven't seen it, you can... in fact, I'll put the link up. It was an interesting live chat. I barely got to say anything. I was dealing with idiots, but there we are. Right, let's copy that. I'll put that here. So if you want to check that out, this is Saturday's impromptu live chat. Quite comical in places. Gareth, yes, you can tell us about your pub gig. Did a pub gig through an Ampeg 8x10 once. My mate stores it at the venue and he said to use it rather than bring yours. What a sound. There's a reason Ampeg 810s are legendary. You know, they were the first big bass cab like that. Even Marshall, they beat Marshall to it, I think. And reputation, industry standard, pretty much. But just over time, and certainly since the introduction of neodymium, people just don't tend to buy that stuff. Some people do, if they've got techs and crew and other people who are going to lug all the stuff around. Most people will buy 2 4x10 cabs and stack them. I did that for a number of years. But yeah, it's a harder thing. I mean, you can pick those up now for like 300 quid here in the UK because people are just getting rid of a lot of their heavy stuff. Same with Trace Elliot stuff. So much of it still out there. But it weighs a ton. And unless you're a sort of chunky chap, a lot of people just don't want to go down that kind of route anymore with their bass amplification. But it has a sound. So if you can accommodate it, and especially with the amps, if you've got... actually, Ollie might come on later. Young Ollie. So he mentioned last week's live chat, he picked up a Trace combo for like 30 quid. I got a message over the weekend, it had gone wrong. And what were we saying about putting money aside to deal with repairs? Exactly. So he's going to just buy another amp. Gareth, think Ampeg is owned by Yamaha now? It is. That happened, I think, 2017, 2018? 2018, I think. I know I was over there in Milan for the launch of their bass range in 2017. Not sure Ampeg had come on board at that point, but by the time we did the advertorial in Bass Player, actually it would have still been BGM as well at that point, just as we went in lockdown in 2020, it was a 3-way brand advertorial, so it was Yamaha, Ampeg and Line 6. So yeah, but I don't know how things have improved, if at all, since Yamaha took them over. I don't know, but I mean, start of lockdown, I literally had every Ampeg product here in my office, every cab, every amp. I had about 9 Yamaha basses and a bunch of Line 6 stuff. Busy times here at Brooks Towers it was. I couldn't move. I know that much. There was so much gear. The poor courier, when he came to collect it all, he said, "What the hell is all this?" I said, "Don't worry about it. Just open up the back of your van and let's get it in because it weighs a ton." He said, "Well, how am I supposed to get it off the van at the other end?" I said, "It's not my concern." I need it all gone before the ground floor here gives way. Halcyon times, you know. Right, let's just check all the analytics here. Everything's all going good. That's fine. Yeah, that's okay. That's good. Yeah, that's all good. Check there's no community posts. No new subscribers yet. Okay, that's all fine. That's all good. Live stream health is excellent. That's what we like. There we go. So if you are new to the channel, new to the live chats, please give this video a thumbs up if you can, in the thumbs up icon underneath the video screen. The best thing you can do for me, the channel, this video, and any video here on the channel is if you can give it a thumbs up. If you give it a thumbs down, please leave a message in the comments section. Let me know what you don't like or what you don't enjoy. But if you can give a video a thumbs up, it's a big help. Leave comments, share the videos out to social media, email, websites. It's all good. Gareth, Yannick Guizdala dropped Aguilar for Ampeg last year. It's because they offered him money. Aguilar don't do endorsement deals. Well, they do the deals, but you don't get any money for being an endorsee. So that's probably why he's done that. As with a lot of people that initially went with Aguilar for profile and then dropped it when they got a bigger check from another company. Again, Ampeg have got Yamaha behind them. That's a big checkbook. Although, having said that, Aguilar now has Korg, but I mean, I don't know what the politics with Korg and Aguilar are. Maybe they do pay endorsement deals now. I don't know. But Aguilar never used to. Interesting. Because he was a big exponent for Aguilar through the 2010s. Wes Fort, good to see you. Hope you're well. Hope all is good with your bass playing adventures. Any new developments? How's that Status King bass of yours? All strung up now? All working fine? Hope so. All is good. That's what we like to see. Like to hear. Great stuff. King bass working beautifully. Super. I can't remember, did you use the grub screws for the strings? I can't remember. Or did you use double ball ends? I should say, actually, for all the people out there who use status basses, if you don't have the grub screws that go in the end of the neck, headstock end, I do have spares. I have a nice bag full of them. And if ever you lose any of those screws, I sell them for £1 a screw, plus postage and packing. So if you buy a second-hand status and it's missing the grub screws, I can sort that out for you. Use double ball ends. Very good. Super, super, super. So if you've got any questions about bass guitars, bass amps, bass effects, bass accessories, bass strings, gig bags, bass players, got problems with your gear, thinking of becoming a bass player, doing your first audition, setting up a pedal board, let us know. If I don't know the answers, I'll open it up to the fine people here on the Brooksy's Bass Corner live chat. But if I know the answer and I can help you, I will. That's what I'm here for. So this is live chat 112. 112. It's crazy. I was thinking 2 days ago, I think. It's not that long till we hit 200. And if we do every Tuesday through the summer, towards the end of the year, we will be getting close. We'll be getting closer to 200. So watch this space. And like I said, I'll be trying to do the impromptu live chats on the weekend gigs as much as I can. Sometimes it's not possible because the mobile reception isn't that great, or if there's no Wi-Fi. if I've got no reception, I can't do it. Nothing's going to go through. But thankfully, so far this summer season, it's been okay. It's been not too bad. So I hope you enjoy those little insights when I'm going live at gigs. It's hard. As I found on Saturday, I wanted to do like a load of filming. Couldn't do it because there was a DJ on literally the moment we arrived. There was music playing in the background, and I couldn't risk getting hit with copyright claims and copyright strikes. It's great, isn't it? Can't do something as simple as film because you could well get hit and you don't know where those hits are going to come from. So I have to try and play safe as much as I can when doing those live chats on the fly. Just the way it is. I think we're up to date with all the messages. All good. Just checking those analytics. Yep, it's all good. So I'm going to be looking at the merch stuff very shortly. I may be changing supplier. I've noticed that Spreadshirt and Spreadshop seem to have changed their prices. I don't know if this is anything to do with tariffs or what have you. But I think the merch prices have gone up. And I wasn't aware of it. I haven't really checked, to be fair. So there might be some changes. There might be some new designs as well. I need to look into suppliers and what the relative costs are between. It's basically it's a process I did 2 years ago, and it's time for looking at whether it's worth upgrading that. So I thought I'd ask you, is there any stuff you'd like in the merch departments that I'm not currently offering with Spreadshirt and Spreadshop? To be fair, I haven't gone in there and checked if they've got new products or what have you. But if there's something you'd like or some sort of design thing, 'cause some people don't like wearing brands, and I get that. But if there's something you'd like or a certain item that we can put Brooksy's Bass Corner logos, brand recognition on, I'll check it out. But again, if I change supplier, the items, well, the options in terms of what's available will probably change. But we'll see. New messages on the server. Oh, okay. There aren't any. Got it. Understood. Very good. Dave Angel, good to see you. Hope you're well. Welcome along. Tuesday night, isn't it? It's Tuesday night is live chat night. Let's quickly check on the football. Paris Saint. No, what am I talking about? Nonsense. Inter Milan versus Barcelona. It is. Oh, it looks like some hefty scoring. Inter Milan 2-1 up, which means on aggregate it's 5-4. It's still got 41 minutes to play. Yep. It's all good. What's happening with Dave Angel in the world of bass? What's going on? Oh, I realised I haven't looked at... So every day I check what Bass Brothers have got, Bass Gallery and Bass Direct. I just realised I haven't done any of that today. Can't miss out on something you might want, Mike. So you have to check. Because all three of these places, if something really good turns up, it goes very quickly. Right, let's have a look here. Oh, okay, there's only one new one there. Pedals, let's check. No, don't want any of that. No. Let's see, what's that? Cool. Old first edition EBS micro bass. Crikey. That's at Bass Brothers. Okay, quick one on the bass gallery. Although I did check this yesterday. Nothing new there. Not that I can see. And Bass Direct. I did press the wrong thing there. Spectre Euro 4 LX Doug Wimbish in amber, 1899. Music Man Stingray 2EQ 1987 white gloss, pre-owned, $2,000. That's the bass of choice. That'll sound huge. My old Mark King Stingray was an 89 with 3-band EQ, and that sounded huge. Okay, the rest of it on there I know, I think. Or have I? Okay. Very good. Dave, just got a Tokai 84 fretless jazz sound. Oh, very nice. That's a monstrous bass. Enjoy. How's it play? Good setup. Fingerboard all okay? No splits. Ebony board, rosewood board. If it's original, it would be rosewood, but sometimes on fretlesses people upgrade and put a new fingerboard on. Plays cool, very good. If you want to join in on the live chat, feel free. You can email me. There's a ticker running along the bottom of the screen. Email me at brooksysbasscorner@gmail.com. I'll send you an invite to the live chat, and you click on that invite and you come straight through. That's how it works. Rosewood, all original. Sunburst? Oh, you got a solid colour. The Tokais are great. Can't really go wrong with that. They were such a big improvement over the Fenders of the time. It's no surprise that they got quite a fan club. Need to work on the intonation. As I'm finding, as I'm starting to get to grips with the Fretless Odyssey, which is going to be happening, filming very shortly. Got it all scripted. Just got to start doing it now. It's scary, isn't it? And you go down the road of Fretless, you think, oh, it'll be all right. I'll work it out somehow. It's a little more involved than that. A lot of it is ear. A lot of it is muscle memory and concentration and learning how to do it. And not for the faint-hearted. Many's a bass player got caught out thinking that, oh, I've bought a fretless, I'll take that, it'll be great. And then get all the band going. When it's all the intonations going wrong and you're not quite hitting those notes where you should. I've heard many a tale from seasoned pros who should know better. good. Right. But my advice to you, Dave, you're working on your intonation, is play stuff that you regularly play on fretted, so your ear kind of tunes into how it should sound, and record what you play, because it'll show you, or whether it's with video or just audio or whatever, it'll show you where you're going wrong, and it'll make you focus on what you need to do, and take it slowly. Sometimes with fretless, people rush into it like a bull in a china shop, and then wonder, they get disheartened. It's like, oh, I'm never going to be able to do this. It's a practice thing, really is. It's hours of, well, I say hours of woodshedding. It's not that, but it's a technique, and like with any bass playing technique, it takes a bit of practice. You've got to get used to it. It's not as easy as just going, oh well, I always play fretted. Well, I don't play fretless, and it's not. It's different. It is different. Unfortunately, it's been stripped. Okay. And has a rather dubious varnish job, but it's great. That's all right, though. You can always have it stripped again. Have it re-lacquered. Resprayed, if you want it something else. Those are old basses, 84. What are we talking? 41 years old, They've got miles on the clock. And that's no bad thing. That's no bad thing. The only thing I'd be aware of, just so you know, is because it's got rosewood board. Depending on what strings you use, whether it gets chewed up or not, rosewood can be a little soft. But then again, there are other variants of rosewood that can take a good pummeling on a fretless board. But there's never any danger that if it gets chewed up, you can either have it sanded down, or worst case, you have the fingerboard replaced. But if it sounds great, plays great, and you're happy, get stuck in. Really. Don't be too, light-fingered around it. It's, they're there to be played. Get stuck in. I can remember going to the bass centre many occasions, and there were fretless basses. In fact, I think once upon a time there was one of Pino's basses was there, and he was having the fingerboard skimmed. I think it was an ebony board, and all the strings had chewed up into the board. And they just skimmed it, looked like new afterwards. Bill Derbyshire. I went to band rehearsal once thinking I had my trusty jazz in my gig bag. I know where this is going. Pulled out fretless that I just mucked around on at home. I had no choice but to go with it for the practice. Thank God it was only a practice, Bill. I knew where that story was going as soon as you said, in my bag. I've heard that. I've done it myself. God, I've taken a gig bag out and gone, where's the bass? That's not what I thought. Realised I got two gig bags here exactly the same. And I picked the wrong bass up. Picked the wrong bag up. And you just have to go with it. It's a bit hard though. You do a Queen gig and you don't take the precisions, and you suddenly turn up with a status or something. It just doesn't look right. Haven't done that yet. But I had done an Uncle Funk show where I took the wrong bass. I thought I had something else in there, and I didn't. But thankfully it wasn't too shocking. And we got the job done, which is the important thing. It is 9:30 here in London town, here in the UK. This is Brooks's Bass Corner live chat 112. If you got any questions about bass, amps, effects, anything to do with bass guitars, feel free. Come on in and join us. We're a friendly bunch. And if you've got any problems, maybe you're starting bass, maybe you want to take it up, you don't know if it's for you, come and ask us some questions. If you're looking to buy a new bass, buy some new gear, ask. If I can offer up any words of advice or opinions on gear, more than happy to do so. It's all good. There is a poll running. Actually, I haven't checked the poll for a little while. Let's just have a look at Let's have a little look at the poll. See how we're going. So I'm just asking: would people find it useful if I produced some videos that are a bit more less production oriented and more on the fly? So recording with a camera or phone, not going via an audio interface, a bit more, as I say, on the fly. There's a poll running, so please put your opinions in there. I did post this up on the community tab last week. Had, I think, about 10 replies, 10 votes on both of the messages. It started out people weren't interested, then it immensely took over that they were, and it's kind of gone almost like a 50-50 thing. So I'm just interested because I don't want to, I mean, if I do it on the fly, it's still a whole lot less work than when I do all the lighting and the camera and the film it and then edit it all up and do all the graphics and the text and what have you. But if you'd find that interesting, so it's just more literally in your face, 60-second demo, probably do 5 for each instrument and amp combination, do some with pedals, just trying to get more sort of a consistent flow of video production up and out, if you get my drift. You're still getting used to the Tuesday evening stream. I keep forgetting. That's right. You can actually, all the videos that are booked up at the moment, I think I've got them booked up till the end of June. They're already there. If you go into the Brooks's Bass Corner page here on YouTube, you can actually press the notification button and YouTube will remind you like about 15 minutes before we go live. And you can do that on all the videos. Just click on the video link. There's nothing to see at the moment. It's just the thumbnail. But the notification button is there. So just hit that and it'll send you a notification. Juice. A series of snapshot reviews from Bass Direct or Bass Gallery would be great. Yeah, I can't really do that. And the reason I say that is because at the gallery, there is no room. There is no room. We used to do review days for the magazine at the gallery. And there's just no room to do stuff like that. Also, I don't go to the gallery that often because generally every time I go in there, it's so busy, you couldn't swing a cat. Bass Direct, it's like 85 miles away from home. Again, I can't really do reviews in a shop that's busy. But also, I mean, both stores, how can I put this diplomatically? They're not paying me anything to do reviews of the stuff they're trying to sell. So, in one hand, it would be great advertising for them and it might help them shift some stock. I get no kickback from it. And actually, Mark and I at Market Bass Direct talked about doing an affiliate link like 3-4 years ago. Never done it. It's never happened. Having said that, I haven't chased him on it, but I suspect there are bigger YouTube channels out there that they'd probably prefer to go with. I'm not going to argue the toss. We could try and do something, but invariably a lot of these shop owners, they've got so many plates to spin and stuff to juggle. I would be very much at the bottom of their list. So if they wanted to contact me and talk about doing something, that'd be great. But to be honest, I just don't have the time to chase all that stuff up at the moment. So I get what you and actually to begin with on this channel, a lot of the stock, a lot of the basses were from Bass Direct. The problem was Mark and I had an agreement that I'd go and get the stuff, bring it back here, film it, and he could then link through to those reviews on my channel when they posted up stuff on their social media, and that was great. But the problem was, once the Ukraine-Russia war hit and the fuel price went up, simply couldn't afford to keep running backwards and forwards. And also what we found was, every time I'd take 5 to 10 basses and bring them back here and start the filming, within 3 or 4 hours I'd get a call. Mike, we need those basses back, they've sold. So it meant I had very little time to produce that content, and I can't really do what I'd want to do in a actually physically in a shop. There's just not enough room to be able to film and do stuff. I could try, but it might be a bit weird for the other customers. I'm filming on a camera going, oh yeah, look at this bridge, and look at that lovely 34-inch scale, and we'll see. I'll keep you posted. Anyway, Know Your Sound. Hi. Hey, good looks. Good to see you. I really like the setup on your channel. What camera are you using in the DAW? I appreciate your time. Are you talking about in terms of this live chat? Camera is a Canon EOS. I think it's the R45, I think. Let me just find my receipt. Sorry. Bear with me a moment. So I'm just going through my emails. I'll find it for you. I'm not particularly up with camera tech. I apologise. Give me a minute. Here we go. It is Canon EOS R50. That's what I'm filming this on at the moment. And DAW, I don't use one. I use Audacity. Audio interface is a Focusrite. Again, I need to go into my emails. Tell you what the model is. It ain't that. Going the wrong way there, Mike. You want to go that way? It was a Focusrite, or is a Focusrite Scarlett 2i2, 4th generation. But DAWs, don't use them. Only I use Audacity. That's it. Which is free. Ah, there you go. Yeah. I've just told you. You might need to rewind the live chat back a bit if you've missed that. So yeah, a Canon EOS R50 camera, Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 4th generation audio interface. Anything else you want to know? Fire away. Just check everything's all working. Yep, that's all good. That's good. Yep, that's working. Stream health is excellent. Very good. All good. So at the moment on the poll, no one has said they don't want those on the fly demos. Is that the case? Or 16 votes and you all want it. Fab. Okay. I'll take that as a yes then. Okay. Well, I'll put them up. I'll do them. I'll put them up. And we'll see how they go. They could die on their backside, which won't help the channel. But if you guys would like that, I'll do it. And we'll see. But at the I'll do a bunch of them as shorts, and we'll do it as an experiment and see how it goes. And if they work for you, then I can unleash all these basses, amps, and effects, and I'll do like a whole library of it. And then I'll wait for the feedback. But if I start getting disparaging comments from people all around the planet going, "This is rubbish, there's no production," then I'll rein it back in. We will see. But I now kind of have my audience, you guys out there in YouTube land. I have my community, if we like. Those of you who come here on the live chats regularly every week, you know, if you want the quality in the production, I can do all that. That's fine. But we can do the short on the fly demos very quick, very easy. Literally film it. I can edit it within about 10 minutes and it'll be up. And if that works, that's great. Know Your Sound, thank you. Such a great channel. Thank you very much. Thank you, mate. Always enjoy the chat. Anytime. Anytime. You know where we are. Every Tuesday from 8 p.m. UK time. We're here for about 3 hours. 2.5. 2.5 if it's slow. If it's really slow, it'll be 2. But generally 3. Gareth Harrison, maybe a video of the process you use to produce these shorts. Okay. So a lot of the shorts here on the channel are actually remixes. And by that, and I get people asking me, what's a remix? So basically when you produce a long form piece of content, if you then go into, you can only do remix shorts on the mobile. You can't do it on the desktop. If you go into your phone app, go to YouTube. If you're a creator, go to YouTube, go in the app, go to your channel and see your list of videos. If you click on the video or a video, I think there's a time limit. So if it's like over 30 minutes, you can't do a remix, or it might be like over an hour, because the bass collection video I can't do remixes of, which is a real nightmare. But most things up to about 30 minutes you can. So there's a button there called remix. You press it, and what it does, it allows you to take a chunk of your long form video and turn it into a short for anything between 1 second and 60 seconds. And then you scroll through the video, find the chunk you want, process it, and then you can go in and add text and filters and what have you. So those are remixes. So I've done back in 2022, 2023, in order to produce a short every day, I went back into my review videos and tried to take 2 to 3 remix shorts out of each one. So if on a bass review I had a slapping section and a fingerstyle section and a picking section, I do a video for each. Generally, some of them had better reception than others. Some have grown over time. Some did nothing when they first came out, and now I've suddenly seen the growth curve take off. So that's what those are. Filming a short from scratch is a different thing. So with that, it's no different than a long form video. And sometimes producing a shorts video takes just as long as a long form video, because the editing, and certainly if, like I did a video about 1.5 years ago, we did a Queen show in London, and I gave you sort of the gig adventure, and I wrapped it into about 35 seconds. The editing, because I was changing shot like every 2 seconds, 3 seconds. It took a while. It took about 3 hours to produce it, but it did okay. It didn't blow my mind, but it got some views. So, Richard, good to see you. As promised, connected on my train ride home, bringing a Vintera 2 Mustang back from Edinburgh. Excellent. How is it? Let's have an update. Is it as good as you hoped? That's fine. Yep. checking everything. It needs to minimize. No. Wrong button. There we go. If you want to join me here on the live chat, you can. Just email me. There's a ticker running along the bottom of the screen. Email me, brooksysbasscorner@gmail.com. I'll send you an invite. You click on the invite, brings you straight through here onto the live chat. It's a very pretty bass in the competition burgundy, but someone's put flats on it. That's no bad thing. That's no bad thing. If you want round wounds, then you can do that. You can always go down the half wound route, which I strongly recommend on some basses. Depends what you're going to use the bass for. Okay, Gareth, maybe a video of the process you use to produce these shorts. Well, for these on-the-fly demos, I'll be doing that from scratch. I'm trying to work out in my head exactly what camera shots I want and how to do it. So, but my idea is to set a camera up and just do like a whole bunch of the basses. Maybe even run like 20 of the basses through one amp and cab combination, then move to another one. Literally create almost like a library of content to be edited up, and then I can put those shorts out like one a day, every day for about a month. We'll see how it goes. At least I have 2 Mustangs now, one on rounds, one on flats. There you go. You need a third clearly for half wounds. But there is a set of 4095 elixir rounds ready and waiting to go on. Okay. Very good. Enjoy. Bass player from YoungGunSilverFox had a, I don't think it was a vintage precision, but it was very nice precision, and he had flats on his. It's a prerequisite on that gig. The bass player has to use flats. Sean doesn't like rounds, as he explained to me once. 3 Mustangs don't encourage you. Oh, I'll encourage you all the way. Need another one. And a nice status. And probably a Guy Pratt status to put flats on as well. Gareth Harrison. I have flats on my short scale Gretsch. There you go. It's a tone. That's for sure. I've only got flats on one bass here, which is on my Mike Dirnt Precision. But I don't tend to get called to gig with flats, so there's nothing I do. Although I'm playing with the Queen tribute next weekend, where, oh blimey, Barcelona are 3-2 up against Inter Milan, 6-5 on aggregate. It's 90 minutes. Looks like it's Barcelona going into the Champions League final. Good luck, Arsenal. And I don't say that very often. You already have 3 status basses. Only 3. Only 3. Needs to be 4, surely. 5's even better. Yeah, I never get asked to do flats, but the Queen tribute I'm playing with next week, I believe, I don't think it's this singer, but I think the previous singer, who does Freddie, would insist that the bass player used flats, which, okay, John Deacon did use flats for a significant amount of time in Queen, but he did use rounds as well. And I'm a rounds guy. I'm not a flats guy, really. I'll use them if I have to. But on Queen, I want volume, balls. I want punch. I want power. And flats ain't going to give me that. So I haven't been asked to make sure I've got flats on that bass that I'll be using. So, like I say, I think it was a thing with one of the previous singers. I don't think it's with the current incumbent. But if he asks me, we'll have that discussion. And then I'll convince him that I know better, and rounds it is. But I haven't heard anything yet, so we'll see. Agreed. Never been asked for flats. Singers and brass players need to hear the upper overtones from the harmonics on the bass. Thank you very much. Exactly that. So I always have very clean, bright strings. Yeah, see, usually the basses I play have enough clarity that I'll get about 30 gigs out of a set. I don't sweat out of my hands. I'm very lucky. A lot of bass players do, and that's why their strings go dead. My strings will be all right for about 30 gigs, unless I'm playing a Fender or a Stingray, in which case they'll die after about 10 gigs. Still don't know quite what the science behind that is, but if I play a 2/2 headstock arrangement, alembic, status, GB, aria, any of those basses, I've got 2/2 arrangement, strings don't die as quick as they do on a Fender or a Stingray. I don't know what the science is, but it just seems to be the case. That's how the others pitch. Correct. I've always gone for power and punch, because depends what band you're playing in. If it's your regular band, you kind of know how everyone's going to sound. You know who's fitting in what frequency space. If you've got a sound man, he's going to know your sound. If you're depping, or it's a band you don't play with very often, you've got to bat for safety. It's a bit like I'm trying to think of an analogy. Basically, you've got to play for safety. So you want volume, punch, presence, getting the job done. It's all well and good using flats if that's what someone wants, or that's what the gig would suit. Doesn't necessarily mean that's what's going to get the job done on the night. You might not EQ your bass or your amp or something the way it needs to be done, and the job doesn't get done. It's no use. You don't get a second bite at the cherry, so you've got to get it right sort of first time. Gareth, did have flats on my Epiphone Jack Cassidy, but soon took them off and put them on my West Tone fretless instead. There you go. Richard, I'm the opposite. Yeah, I have dry hands, but my status basses with 3090s last about 4 gigs. Well, that's because they're 3090s. 3090s are well renowned for dying very quickly, because there's not a lot of metal. There's not a lot of space there for dead finger skin and grease and what have you to go into. So set of 3090s doesn't last very long. Hence why Mark King used to change his once or twice a gig. There we go. Your Fenders have elixirs which last a year, which I assume you're not using 3090s on the Fenders, but also elixirs will last because they're coated. Correct. Yeah, I learnt the lessons of 3090s very early on, before I turned pro. I was doing gigs, and you get people in the band going, "Where's the bass end?" There's no bass end. And once I turned pro, it was like, no, we're sticking with 4090s, and 4000s, sorry. And I pretty much used those religiously on all my basses until about 2005, when I did the Green Day tribute, and then it was 4505s, obviously. And then I think because I was using the status and the GB pretty much all the time, up until I moved to rotor sounds, and then I started playing with gauges and string types on different basses. And I realised that the Fenders and my Stingrays worked best, sounded best, when I've got 4505s on there. The statuses, alembics, GBs, various others, 4000s, perfectly fine. But the Fenders just seem to work better with a heavier gauge on them. Steve Harris plays flats but changes them every gig, apparently. Yeah, well, he's a monster, isn't he? He's beating them into submission every gig. Elixirs on Fenders are 4095 sets. Okay, I like the bendability of that set. Yeah, agreed and understood. Very good. So I'm just checking everything here is all working. Okay, we've got 17 votes in the poll. 100%. Everyone's very interested in the demos with less production. Okay. I'll take that as a thumbs up and a green light to start producing them. We'll see. I mean, Shorts generally works on the algorithm presenting it to you, but if you know I'm doing those, you can just search for them on the channel and search for them within YouTube, and they should pop up. So let's see how they go. But again, the idea is that I can produce them very quick, and I can, produce that content very quick and have multiple days ready to go, literally lined up. They can just go bang, 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 bang. So we'll see. I'll get my head around it. I'll script it all out tomorrow and see what angle to come from, and whether I even talk on it. I might not even talk. It might just be captions saying, this is what this bass is, this is what these strings are, these are the settings, this is me playing, and we're in. So we'll see. They might not even be 60 seconds. They might be 35 seconds. We'll see. Oh my. Champions League. 90 minutes plus 8 minutes of stoppage time. It's 3-3. 6-6. It's going to extra time, I think. Well, now. Inter Milan ain't finished. So who's betting? Who's putting money down on which of those two is going through? 3-3, 6-6, going to extra time. Dawson, you're back. I hope Ace Frehley shows up to the Gene Simmons show. Well, I wouldn't put your money on that, but you never know. You never know. So it is coming up 10 o'clock here in London town, here in the UK. If you have got any questions about bass gear, bass amps, bass effects, bass accessories, anything to do with bass guitars, put your question or comment in the text box in the live chat window and send it to me, and I'll try and help as best I can. If I can offer any help or advice, that's what I'm here for. That's what we do this every Tuesday for. And we'll help, or I'll help as much as I can. If I can't help, or I don't know the answer, someone else here on the live chat might well know. So I'll give another plug to the fine chaps in YoungGunSilverFox. Went to see this fine band on Sunday, playing at Hoxton Hall. New album came out last Friday. Pleasure. Outstanding. Sean. Andy. Great stuff. Great work. Well done, boys. If they're coming to your neck of the woods on their current tour here in the UK, go and see them. You won't regret it. Tickets are very cheap. Their tickets are so cheap. It's so, I feel like I'm ripping them off by buying a ticket. It's just so cheap. But they're a great band. A great night's entertainment, and the music is just fab. So they are the real deal. I just wish they got bigger. But there's still time. Gareth Harrison got tickets to see British Lion in December. Very good. Very good. Mr. Harris, of course. I don't think I've got tickets for anything now. I will go and see Level 42 later in the year. Don't know which dates I'm going to do yet, because a lot of the dates I would want to go to location-wise clash with gigs I've got, which makes it all a little bit difficult. So I'm going to have to wait until nearer the time for that. And Dawson appreciates that. Here we go. Richard sent us a photo here. That's a nice colour. Oh, I like that. I can share that with you. There we go. That one. And then we want to go for that. That's a very nice colour, Richard. I like that. Let me get rid of the banner. There we go. Nice racing stripe on it as well. Yeah, it's good. That's good. Gareth, you're seeing Supergrass on the 17th. Excellent. That'll be a good show. That will be a good show. Bill Derbyshire, got to go. See us next week. Take it easy, Bill. Have a great week, my man. Enjoy. Yeah, I like that, Richard. That's my sort of colour. Yeah, good. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Well done. Was it worth the journey to go and get that? Clearly you didn't want to do a courier thing. Right, just checking all of this. All looking good. Has anyone noticed any difference in the clarity of the visuals or the sound? Did it sound better? Because we've now had a full fibre upgrade here at Brooks Towers. And hopefully this is all looking and sounding a little better, maybe. Obviously the camera hasn't changed, but I'm hoping it's a little better for you. You'll tell me after you've played it. Very good. Very good, Rich. Yeah, it's a bit hard when you go and pick things up. They haven't got your choice of strings on there and what have you. It's hard to appraise them. I get it. Set it up with some nice elixirs. There you go. Gareth, it's 30th anniversary tour for Aisha Coco. Yes, it is. I know it. 30 years. Cripes. I remember when it came out. So we'll be playing that album in full. Very good. It looks as if I'm running at set. It's 720, I think. There was an option last week to run at 1080. It used to be on StreamYard. You had to go to the top range subscription to get 1080. Let me just check. Let's just check the settings, shall we? There was a thing and I tried to change it. Right, high definition. Well, let me select 1080. So we're in 720. It's because I'm already live. So I'll tell you what, next week I'll try and select 1080 and we'll see how it goes. So because we're already running, I can't stop the live chat and come back in. I might be able to take me off screen. Hold me on. Hold me on? Hold on. Let me just check. If I tell you what, I'm going nowhere. All right. This is just a very brief experiment. Bear with me, gang. I will be back within about 10 seconds. Hold on. It doesn't work. You can't do it. You can't come off camera and change the resolution, sadly. Okay, well, I will check for next week. So we're running at 720 at the moment. I'll try running it at 1080 next week and see if that makes a difference. But hopefully now with the fibre upgrade, we won't have any of the blockiness or the sound issues that we had before. Hopefully. That's the idea. Bill Clements, good to see you, sir. Hope you're well. Hope all is good. Good to see you. Welcome. Come on in. Oh, dogs are barking. It'll be dentist stick time. Their mother can sort that. Let's have a look at this poll. How are we doing? 19 votes. Everyone says they're interested. Well, I'll expect at least 19 views then on those shorts. It's funny with shorts. You put them out. People don't choose to watch them. They get presented to them on the shorts part of the YouTube app. But over time, when people, like if I do a demo of a particular bass, when they search, the shorts results also feature alongside the long form. So it's then becomes searchable content. So basically there were three, I did a little series of shorts back in 2020, back in 2022 called Three Great Things. So I'd pick a bass and pick three great things about it and why, if you were looking at buying one, why you would look at those features. Those videos kind of did okay to start with. They got like 300-400 views each, and then they just sat there and did nothing. But what I realized was part of it was the fact that this was early days of shorts, and I put a landscape thumbnail, so a 16:9 thumbnail, so it looked like it was a long form video, but it wasn't. It was my fault. I didn't know. But also, when it got presented in the search results, it was alongside all the long form content. So it looked like it was a long form video, but it wasn't. Anyway, over time, those shorts, those three videos have all taken off. They've all hit like 11, 12, 13,000 views each because they've become available as searchable content. If they keep going at the rate they're going to overtake the bass collection video, which is the highest viewed video here on the channel, which has about 23,500 views. So we will see. But if I can do on the fly demos, I'm going to try and find a play on words here to do these so that they stand out as not my regular demos or videos. They're literally on the fly. I've literally set the gear up, I'm playing, camera goes on, and we'll see what happens. Bill Clements on bass. Been having fun with the used Music Man Sterling of late. Is that Sterling model or Sterling brand, which are the more recent, cheaper versions? Too good a deal to pass up. If it's a Sterling model, they're outstanding. Lovely basses to play. Slinky, very slinky to play. Smaller, the brand. Okay, so it's one of the cheaper ones. Well, you're going to go fine with that. They are lovely basses for the money. I can't even say they're missing the bells and whistles. If you get a good one, it's good, well set up, and it plays great. Great value for money. Why would you buy a full-blown American, West Coast model? Especially at the way that they're currently priced. I mean, they're becoming almost unobtainable. They've gone through the roof. Okay, we've got 20 votes on the poll. Very good. I'm taking that as a positive indication. People would like that. Because when I posted up on the community tab, it wasn't that positive. It was like a lot of people, well, I say a lot, they both got about 10 or 11 views. And originally, it wasn't positive. Then it became positive. Now it's kind of 50-50 split. But obviously, I don't want to put a load of time and effort into videos that people aren't going to watch. And I don't want it to hit the progress the channel's making. So maybe I'll create 5, see how they go. Put them out one a day, and if they take off, then fabulous, great. If it gives the channel a bit of a boost and a kickstart, then then I'll know we're on the right track. So I rely on you people to watch those shorts. I'll announce them and you'll know about it. So we will see. Bill Clement, spent a couple of days on the setup, plays like butter. Excellent. Kev, C bass. Good to see you. Labella Flats on your 70s P bass. Otherwise, you prefer Lix's 4505, 135 for most others. An odd set of old new stock piccatos. Got it. And a stack of DE strings for statuses. DE? Do you mean DR? You do mean DR. Yes, piccatos. I'm going to be using a bunch of piccatos when I get into the workshop to do these restringings, because some of the sets I've got here are old and I don't want them to corrode. So it's time to get them used and used up. And they're all in paper packets. So time to get them used. I've got a big old stock of different strings, which I keep all the time anyway. Some basses just work better with different strings, different brands, different materials, different gauges. So I've got into the habit of keeping a fairly wide range. For years, I just had tons and tons of 4000 piccatos and a couple of sets of 4505. And but over the past sort of 10 years since I moved over to Rotor Sound, not just Rotor Sound strings, I've got other brands in there. I just keep a string box and there's loads of different things in there. Used to get things from the mag for field testing. Sometimes I used them, sometimes I didn't. It's all good. Richard, didn't Piccato make strings for Status Graphite? Yes, the original hot wires were Piccatos. And this is why back in 2015, people couldn't get hot wires for about 6 months because Status needed to source a new supplier. And with Piccato gone, obviously there weren't any of their hot wires being made, so they had to move to other makers. Piccatos were great until they started going downhill for me in about 2013, and I did a string order and I noticed that 2 sets on the bounce weren't good. Either the E string was dead or the A string was dead. And I'd contact them and say, this string is completely gone and it's brand new out the packet. Send it back, we'll send you another set. Send it back, got a new set, same thing. And I thought, this is just happening too often on my orders now. There's something going on. And I think it was just generally, I don't want to say a lack of care and attention. I just think they knew they were going to wind the company down by 2015. And so they were just churning product out and there wasn't any quality control going on. Maybe I could be talking out of turn. I'd be happy to be told otherwise, but consistency was just starting to go. And I think around about summer of 2014, late 2014, I was starting to think maybe it's time to start looking. I didn't know they were going to be closing down. I just thought maybe it's time to start looking around some other alternatives. And after the London Bass Show in 2015, that's exactly what I did. I took about 400 quid of my own money and I bought loads of different brands, different gauges, different materials. Tried them all on the 4 or 5 basses I used the most for gigs and sort of made my assessment from that and chose to go with Rotor Sound. But I had all the big players. I had... obviously Rotor Sounds, I had some Ernie Balls, DRs, I had Darios, Dunlop, GHS, Bass Center Elites, just a whole load of different string manufacturers. And just generally over the basses I was using at the time for most gigs, the Rotor Sounds won out. That was, but that doesn't mean I don't use other brands now and again anyway on certain basses. Some basses just work better, sound better to my ear with other brands, other string gauges, different materials, what have you. Gareth Harrison, Roto Swing Bass 4505 is my preferred round one, and D'Addario. Okay. I like the Dario Pro steels. I'm not a big fan of all their other stuff, and I don't like nickel strings as a general rule of thumb. If I could find a nickel that worked really well and stayed bright, that'd be great. But nickels, just through the physical properties of nickel as a metal, don't stay bright. They tend to have a slightly less harsh, warmer tone, and they just stay at that until they die off. Richard, I've just bought a couple of sets of JHS 3090. JHS or GHS? 30 to 90 double ball end stainless steel strings for the two headless stay tie. Okay, if it's JHS, obviously that's that cheaper budget brand. If it's GHS, then they're the American ones. You still mainly use the bass center sets. Okay. Gareth Harrison, 4505 Rotor Sound swing bass for rounds. D'Addario 4000 chromes for flats. Yeah, that sounds good. I haven't used the D'Addario flats though. Although, what am I talking about? I've got my Ibanez semi-acoustic here. That's got D'Addario flats on it. It is nearly 20 past 10. Here in London, this is live chat 112. GHS, right, got it. Yeah. Well, I have a feeling, and I've never asked Barry at the Bass Centre this, but I've heard on several occasions that Bass Centre Elites are actually GHS rebranded. Could be wrong. I will have a chat with him about that, actually, at some point. And dive a little deeper into the Bass Centre Elite story. Looks like our special guest isn't going to make it tonight, but he says he'll try and get on next week or the week after. Very good. Not a problem. Where are we? Okay, just come up 20. Joe, good to see you. Fave strings are blue steels. Wow. They were such a thing in the early 90s. Dean Markley blue steels. They got a bit tougher to find. Dean Markley stuff was all over the place. Amps, strings, loads of accessories and stuff. Everywhere. Late 80s, early 90s through till about the mid 90s. And then kind of just disappeared a bit. Don't see that stuff very often. Pink Bassman could see you there. Just going through these messages. Gareth, legacy strings sold by Strings Direct are rebranded Rotor Sounds. Yes, we've discussed these before, haven't we? The ones with the coating on. They have an amazing sound. That's the ones with the coating on are Dean Markley. Got it. Yeah. Right, there he is.
Here we are.
There we are. How are we?
Incoming pink explosion.
That's it. So they say.
So they say. Well, you know.
Richard, many moons ago, I used to like the Marcus Miller sets of DRs, but they went dull, sounding too quickly. Yeah, he's with Dunlop now.
That happens a bunch.
What's the news, Buster? What's happening?
Well, so let me see. I don't know. I think I have it close by. Wait a minute. Let me take you with. Cheerio. A little bit of eye. Let me show you. I have to fish this off the shelves. Just a moment.
Some guy. Good to see you. Used to only use elixirs. Okay. Very good.
Okay. So we got these.
Oh, yes.
This is the repress that has a bunch of bonus tracks on it.
Okay.
And a red vinyl album at the same time in very limited quantities. They're moving along already.
Excellent. Good for you, sir.
Yep.
Excellent. Good shipping product, hey?
No, you know, because, and of course, a lot of them, people are requesting them signed and such. So we're signing them away and shipping them out. Good stuff.
Good stuff. Excellent.
Yep, every time.
Excellent. And you were busy at the weekend.
Yep, I had the morning office on Sunday, so I used the Orange Monster because, quite honestly, just because I didn't want to have to retune the Attitude, and I need to swap the strings on this Stripe JD, so I didn't have time to do a valet, so I just kind of went with what I had, and that worked out just fine. It's all good.
Stuff.
Yep.
Good stuff.
Yep. You were out rocking it this weekend, eh?
I was doing the Queen show at Henley for a rugby club festival.
Oh, lovely.
I didn't know really what to expect. I thought this could be really good or really poor. And I turned up and it was really cloudy and horrible, and kids jumping on bouncy castles. And I thought, oh, here we go. And there was an Oasis tribute who were going on before us. They were sound checking. I thought, right, I'm going to go and get my dinner. And it was overcast. It was horrible. It was freezing cold. And in the space of about 40 minutes, it went to bright blazing sunshine. And suddenly I was watching the Oasis band just before I started doing an impromptu live chat, and it started filling up the big top we were in, and I was like, okay, this might take a turn. So I did the live chat and then ended that about 5 minutes before we had access to the stage, and I went to set up and the place was rammed, absolutely rammed. And I think some of that might have been because it was colder outside, so
Sure.
coming in for the heat. But it was great, and it'll be gig vlog 15, and it just went off. Like
Cool.
they just were nuts, absolutely went off. It was great, really good. And then Sunday was going to see this fine bunch,
Oh, yes.
YoungGunSilverFox at Hoxton Hall. So that was my my weekend pretty much. Oh, and I had a request show on Friday as well.
There you go.
So yeah, busy.
All
Into
right.
summer, isn't it?
Yes.
Gigs.
We'll take that all
Crew
day.
sang girls, and I'd sing gigs. Right, messages here.
Yes.
Richard Fitton, right, Mike. Next station is Derby, so I need to go bail out my car. Cool, very good. See you next week, sir. Take
There
it
you go.
easy. Enjoy that new bass. Fabulous, good stuff. What's the bass news? So you were talking to me last night. You might thinking about a certain JD.
Oh, which JD did you have in mind? Because there's about four
many,
of them.
You see. Yes, take your pick.
It's so many JDs, so little time.
Right, and you probably owned them before.
Well, it's just kind of funny. I've had 19 or 20 of them because I've got photos of them all, and of course there's videos of a bunch of them. I don't even know where most of them went, because they got shifted and passed along the way. I think I know where. Let me think. I think I know where one of them is. The others are just, strung about, as it were. Yeah, they've committed to the clouds anyway. So,
understood.
I know that one. There's the one that you and I were talking about that was on the advert for Bass Direct. That one's somewhere in Atlanta. Because it went down there and then it got swapped around once or twice. I don't know who has it, but I know it's in Atlanta.
Bass Direct, you mean Bass Center?
Bass Center, thank you. Yeah. See, I did the same thing. You did that the last time. I did it this time.
Freudian slip. Yeah.
Right.
That's it.
So
the one at Bass Brothers has got your eye, is it?
Well, that one's going to be interesting because I would have to. I'm still waiting on a video. I asked him for the video. Okay. I asked him for a video just because I want to hear it, because there's photos of it everywhere. There's photos of it from 5-6 years ago, getting new frets and getting sorted and all this kind of thing. But nobody's got a sound clip of it. So I've asked those guys, I'm like, hey, how about a little, come on,
Yeah, I'm sure Will will get round to it. I sent him an email last week. So he had a bass. He had an Ibanez ATK up on his up on the bass page. And he had it as an ATK 300. And I went, no, it's a 4. So I've got exactly the same bass here. It's made in Korea or Indonesia. I said they're 400s. 300s were made in Japan.
Got it.
And it took him like 4 or 5 days to come back. And went, oh, crap. So,
Yeah, right.
So probably just workload. He'll come back to you.
Yeah, I mean, and also,
if he doesn't, and you're in a rush, tell me because I'll give you his WhatsApp his number.
right,
And you
okay.
can deal with him quickly that way.
Well, I'm not in a mad rush at this point. I just kind of threw out a little question, after it, because I really want to hear it. I want to see them have a Bosch on it because they do it with all the jazz basses and do it with all the, kaboink, 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 kaboink kind of stuff. Let's have something different, shall we? I know the thing weighs, 5 stone, but come on.
Or the weight of 5 stones.
Right. Because he popped it up there, obviously, and for those of us on this side of the pond who say pounds, and I don't mean sterling, he said it's 11 point something, which is actually kind of heavy. It's kind of like that would be a 78 jazz bass where your shoulders going, So, but I mean, the only thing I can figure is that it's all mahogany. It's got a core of mahogany, and the facings are mahogany as well. That gives it some of that girth,
Let's have a little look.
Sure, yeah. I have it pulled up here as well.
The photos, yeah.
Oh yeah, they've got a bunch of photos of it on there. I mean, it's a lovely bass, and that's the funny thing is, you can't miss it because of the figurings on the facings. You can't miss it, and it's got the headstock before John Diggins did the V for victory or peace, is what he said.
Right.
Not this one.
Oh, there we go.
This one.
There's the back.
Right.
That looks like, what is the top wood?
It looks like mahogany, honestly.
It
really does. Yeah, the top looks like mahogany. It's like it was almost as if it was.
I tell you what, that
grain
is
cut.
only 2. That's 2 pieces. It's not a 3. It's not like a core with a front and a back. It's a front, and then.
Look in the photo that shows.
No. I'm talking crap. People, I know nothing about bass guitars, evidently. No, I've now looked at 3 different pictures. No, it's a 3-piece sandwich.
3-piece sandwich.
So basically, you've got mahogany sat in the middle.
Yep.
And then whatever that top and.
I'm thinking the top is also mahogany.
See, he's got mahogany, walnut, maple. I don't think so. I think it's mahogany and 2 bits of stained maple.
I'm thinking that, honestly, what he's referring to, the walnut maple.
That's the neck wood. Sorry.
It's also the middle of the body. If you look at the stripes.
I'm talking. I'm not even concentrating on what I'm saying.
That's all right.
Take the neck equation and take the neck sandwich out. The actual body wings are
mahogany, and I believe those look like mahogany facings to me based on the grain pattern in the wood. Because it's, I mean.
Well, then what's he using as the middle core?
Well, so the midsection of it, has just mahogany as the more brownish orangish stripe, and then the really, really dark one is the walnut with the maple dead center.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but I'm thinking those facings. I mean, I'll have to speak with the Diggins guys, but I have a feeling those facings are mahogany, just based on the appearance and the grain in the wood.
That'll be a lively sounding number.
Well, it'll sound like a poly-coated wall.
Yeah.
Because those were all mahogany.
As a central core, then that's quite warm. That'll take a lot of that transient spikiness out.
Right.
But the mahogany facings will
give it a little lift. It's got a built-in livener.
Yeah, how about that? No bottles required.
No. Yeah. Don't even have to go to the pub. It's right there.
That looks
so
nice.
I'm kind of curious. So we'll see what he comes back with. But I mean,
obviously there's a active passive switch. What are the other 2 switches? Are they coil taps?
Yes, they're coil taps.
Okay.
Just as if we go to the Star Child bass that Mark King has, that's got coil taps as well. That was something that they threw on periodically, but you don't see them all the time.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah. See what happens. Yeah. All he can do is tell me to, piss off. So.
Okey-dokes.
Yes.
Interesting.
It would be appropriate though to have it here.
Well, needless to say, goes without saying, really.
Indeed.
Very good. Okay, well, keep us abreast of the purchasing. Is that another one you'll pick up here?
That's kind of the idea, because I'd have to bring something with me.
Oh yes, you were saying.
and I have a special case prepared for that adventure.
Okay.
So
Very good.
it holds
It's
two.
all going on.
Yep, it
It's
holds
all
two.
going on.
Right.
Right, one of those. That's a
So,
heavy old bugger. That you're going to pay shipping on that.
actually, it's kind of interesting because it's made by SKB, and it's
okay.
I can put I can sort the double bag, stick it in there and close it up, clamp it, good to go.
Base safe.
Kind of. It's similar. It's the old school style.
Right.
Yeah. It's all good. I've used them before on flights. Had no trouble with them. The only time I had trouble with one was going into Germany. So, because they were like, so tell me, is this you have a weapon in the case? No, I don't have a weapon in the case. Yeah. But let's go X-ray it.
My chopper.
Yeah, come and bring it out, and I'll play you a song while you're running us all through the X-ray. You know, fine.
Yeah, been down that road before.
Oh yeah, that's the only time.
Okay. Cool.
Yes, indeed.
Any Sheehan sightings this week?
So we have an outstanding invite back and forth about getting a curry. So it's just a matter of, schedules fixing up, planets aligning, all that rubbish, to figure it out. So
I'm still waiting for him to get back to me. I gave him a list of dates to do his interview.
Right.
He said, right, with a smile. And that was it. And I've not heard a peep in about 3 weeks. So give him a nudge if you see him.
I shall.
He doesn't have to do it if he doesn't want to. We just won't bother. But I don't want to be one of those sort of constantly nagging at him. You've said you're going to do this. And if you don't want to do it, it's fine. We won't do it. But if he does want to do it, he's got the dates. And we'll see how we go.
There you go.
Here we are.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Here we are. So other than that, really, my end is just videos, content, editing. So I can ask your professional opinion here. So I've put up a poll today, and it's the same as the things that I put up on the community tab last week. So there's a trend on YouTube at the moment for content with less production, less bump, less over polishing of stuff. We get some people and they just use everything that their video editing software has got, and you end up with this hyper polished video that doesn't really say anything, doesn't contribute anything, but it's got loads of polish, right?
Sure.
So there are a few creators now who are creating kind of a trailblazing, if you like, where their content has no polish. And it's literally, they stick the camera on and they do what they're doing, and they've built a fan base around that format of presentation, if you like. And I just wanted to know if people would find it useful, whether to do that in a long form format video or as shorts. And when I put this up on the community tab, it was, are any of you watching the shorts, or are the people that I'm getting just people that it's being presented to via YouTube? But then if you are watching them, and whether you like shorts or you don't, or you prefer long form content, would those videos of me sat like kind of a bit like what you used to do, where you get a bass and you literally stick a camera on and go, right, here's this bass, and this is and these are these pickup, and this is how it sounds, and you plug it into an amp. Part of it is the fact that I have all these lovely amps and cabs here.
Right.
But pretty much all of my stuff goes straight, direct bass into audio interface. And that's what the sound you hear on the videos. That's to give the direct approximation. But I have all these lovely amps and stuff, and I just don't use them on the videos, because my argument has always been, well, not for me, it's not better with bacon, but the problem with doing cabinet reviews and amp reviews with cabs and what have you is the fact that you can record it as best you like. Well, I like sprouts. Is that once you film it and you record it and you edit it up, you lose, well, one form of compression is applied upon rendering the video, and then another form of compression when you are uploading. So it's had two forms of compression since it was recorded here and then gone out into the public domain.
Yep.
So it's not an accurate, what people are hearing is not an accurate representation of what I heard here. So I can review a cab or an amp or a combo or whatever, and they can say, well, it doesn't sound like that. I heard it in a shop. It didn't sound like that. No,
Right.
because it's already had two forms of compression applied. So my big thing is, how do I start incorporating this stuff into videos? And I thought, well, because all my demos and reviews are running via the audio interface rather than through the amps and the cabs, maybe a more direct version of doing those would be to do some shorts as opposed to long form content without the polish, without the audio interface. Just stick a camera on my phone and record it that way, direct, quick, bang, 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 bang. There's no gloss, there's no extra trimmings here. It's just the phone's on. That's what you're going to get.
Right.
And that's what my poll today is. Would people find that useful?
I think so. I think it'd be totally appropriate. I mean, obviously, a phone is not going to capture all of it. You're not going to get as though you were sitting in the room. It's like watching old videos and you see the lines on the screen.
Yeah.
That's the bass response hitting the camera and it's causing everything to shake. You know, you're not going to get all of that, obviously, in this environment. So, but if people are looking for more, let's use the word stripped down content that, to your point, lack of polish, no worries, same thing, where it's more live feel as opposed to, well, I've gone in and I've edited and I've done this and done that and all this. I think that's how I started doing them.
Well, this is why I'm thinking of doing it on shorts before. I mean, I won't stop doing the polished demos and reviews. That will still be a thing because there's still an audience for that.
Oh, sure.
But I don't want to do that as long form because if I do it as shorts, those videos are going to get presented to people that look at that sort of stuff anyway without me having to push them to it. Whereas long form video, that relies on the people that like long form searching for it, going and watching it. It's a longer view as well, whereas the short will just be 40 to 60 seconds.
Right.
It's a quick thing. But that's the whole point, is the fact those videos are quick. They're easy to consume, easy to understand what's going on. It doesn't take up a lot of your time. But because of that, you're not getting all the production that I would normally put on it to a certain extent. And it also allows me to create a regular content stream that isn't taking days and weeks of editing, which is what all the long form stuff does. So it's just an experiment, I think. I'm going to put maybe 5 to 10 videos up and see how they do. If they do better than my current shorts, then I'll know, okay, it's working. But if they kind of bomb and nothing happens, then I'll wind it back in and go, it's not working. So
I'd say give it a shot. I mean, like I said, I did 10 years worth of videos that way. Because I had I was going into Nick Smith's house and I had my trace stack sitting next to me, and all that stuff he used to do, right? And so I mean, because that's what I did. In some of the old videos I've got, you can see the wall of Trace Elliot behind me, and I'm plugging into this one and that one over there, and I mean, you hear the noise in the room and you hear all the, the stuff because you're hearing the sound of the amp, hitting the phone microphone, but it obviously is not going to be the same. But again, anytime you're recording literally anything, you're not going to get 100% of what's there anyway. To your point, compress once, compress twice, compress me 3 times,
Well,
So
the other thing is, oh no, I'm sorry, I'm thinking in my head. It was when we do those remix videos, you can put in there a related video and it points through to it. You can't do that if you're creating a short from scratch.
Right.
So I'm suddenly thinking I could give people that as a on the fly demo and then point them through to the polished demo or the polished review. You won't be able to do that because it doesn't allow you to select related video. I don't think I haven't uploaded a short in a while.
Right, and I haven't done a short live just yet because I'm exploring all the adventures. Because I'll tell you what, I think I mentioned this to the other day, but I realized something just yesterday and into today. I put up a short with a 71 Fender P.
Right.
And I don't know is that everybody is so used to hearing a P bass, but it doesn't. It's not getting the light up like the Olympics do, or the JDs do, or some of the other kind of not so common, so to speak, as a plain old Fender P.
I think the polished, like the Olympics and those things are a little more niche. So those are things that get searched for.
Yeah.
Whereas Fender stuff is people are searching for Fender like every day. There will be millions of searches for that, and it's probably weight of traffic. Because I put up a couple of Fender things. Like last year, I had the FSR, which is there, and the demo didn't do great. The review didn't do great, but over time, they pick up more views. So they don't initially do well in the first couple of days, but they pick up over the months. And suddenly, someone suddenly might go, "Oh, Fender FSR 70s Precision. Are there any reviews or demos?" And suddenly your thing, like my thing, will suddenly appear in the search results. And that's where I'm picking up the traction.
Yeah, because I mean, if I do a review of my channel and look at what the numbers, just for grins while we're here, let me just do this. I'm going to pop up just on my side, just to see, because I can give you some ideas analytic wise of what is top these days. This is where this gets entertaining, to say the least. Okay, so for example, right now, the top thing in my stash, ironically, is Alembic, the short.
Right.
And that one has the most hits. And all of these are pretty reasonable. But it's interesting how they're being searched. Because let me pop this up a little further. Okay. So the Alembic has got gangbusters. And as I stroll down and look through the rest of these, I'm looking to see where the Fender falls, actually. Because I'm really curious, because the top ones in here are, in this order, the Alembic, a JD, and a Rickenbacker. And then number 4 is the Washburn Series 1000, and the Status Streamline is number 5. Those are the top 5.
Right. In shorts or long form?
These are shorts.
Okay, let me tell you what I've got on mine.
All right.
We'll go there. Content, shorts. Right. Okay, well, as I was saying, my 3, okay, you're saying 5, so my top 5, an area, 3 great things. So this was before you came on. I was talking about my 3 great things series, which basically started with 3 videos, and I didn't put any more up till like this time last year. Aria Pro 2 SB 1000, 13,500 views. 3 great things, Dingwall NG2, 13,500 views. Yamaha BB235, which isn't part of the 3 great things, that's had 8,500. Court Artisan B5 Element 5-string bass tone demo, just 6,250, and a Yamaha BB734A fingerstyle demo, 5,615.
Okay. Now, are you doing that as lifetime, or just through last month?
That's the lifetime of those videos.
So the one I just gave you was
picking up the most views in shorts.
Gotcha. Okay, so what I did was what I just told you was actually the last month. So lifetime, this gets more entertaining, let me say. Okay, so lifetime, the top one of mine that people watch is a 1974 Rickenbacker. That's a full-length video.
Okay.
And then the second one is a 78 Stingray. Third one is the 85 Wall. The fourth one.
And again, these videos have been up for years, like 10 years.
Yeah, these have been. Yeah, some of these have been. Now the fourth one is the Gene Simmons Axe Bass.
Well, there aren't going to be many of those.
Right,
So.
right. And number 5 is the Washburn Status S1000.
Right. Yeah.
So those are the top 5 lifetime. So lifetime views. Those are the 5 top bangers.
Interesting. Well, this is the thing. Like I say, it's like the good performers generally on my channel are the cheaper end basses, purely because more people buy them, and they want to know, is a Court better than a Squire? Is that better than an Ibanez? Is that better than a Yamaha? Because all these basses are like cheap, up to £1,000, $1,000, €1,000.
Sure.
And so when I then do a workshop video, suddenly those numbers ratchet up because people have already bought that bass and they want to make it play better.
Right.
So like the most recent workshop video, I think, was the Ibanez SR300. But that's had the most views because it's one of the most popular basses. So the stuff on the Status, the other workshop ones I did, there were a few. The more expensive ones don't get the same level of view, but it's fine. I can see that the viewers are dropping off because we're talking YouTube and they come here for bass stuff.
Right, so let's talk about bass stuff.
Yeah, what do you want to talk about bass stuff?
Well, let's talk about bass.
Yeah, so that's all interesting. But anyway, that's what tonight's poll was about. So it'll be an experiment going forward. We'll see. It'll either work or it will fall flat on its face. We'll see. So I've had 22 votes on tonight, and 100% of you, 22 people, want to watch them. So, all right, we'll give them a go. I'll do a bunch, and we'll see how they perform.
Yeah,
they'll either do well or they won't. And
you'll know. You'll know quickly.
But again, if I do them in shorts form rather than long form, if they don't work, they're not going to impact my long form performance, which is actually what generates the money. Shorts don't generate much money.
Yeah, and that's a whole different discussion. But because I looked it up. But yeah, that's a whole thing. But now, so stepping back to the JDs for a moment, I'll be curious to see. I don't know. What did you say his name was? The guy over there at Bass Brothers. What's his name?
Will.
Okay. He's the one who does all the demos and such, right? He's that guy. Okay. So I'll be curious to see when he comes back, if he, because I sent him an email. I mean, I'm not in a mad rush because obviously if I'm not going to be miraculously appearing yet, I don't have to rush. I don't have to, scramble.
Yeah. You might want, it would be typical that you think, oh yeah, I want it. And then when you suddenly go, oh right, oh no, we sold it 2 months ago. Maybe you want to put a small deposit down on it.
Well, there's that, but I think before I do that, I have to.
Yes, you need to hear it. And
I need to hear it, but not only that, but I've got to sort out this lovely blue bit of kit, shall we say.
I'll tell you what you should do then. Don't wait for him to do a video. You need to do like a live call, a video call with him and get it, because then you can ask the questions as he's going over it.
Yeah.
You can say, I want to hear
he hasn't
the
done.
dials.
Yeah, because he hasn't done anything with it yet. I mean, it's just sitting. I think, I don't know, speculatively on my part, I think it's one of those moments that not everybody's going to want that bass.
True, and it's expensive.
It's a few quid, isn't it? So
it's a substantial outlay.
Kind of like the one that had the made for roto sound on the back of it some months back. I forget who shifted that one up. Somebody got it.
But Jason Howe has a JD.
Oh yes, I know. We spoke about it.
Bashed up and stuff.
Yeah, we have spoken about it. Jason and I have spoken about it. So, that's been kind of in the back and forth with me doing stuff with roto sound. So, yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Well,
so it's all good.
To see how it all pans out.
Yep. So I'll be waiting to see how quick. Because usually, I mean, the last time I asked them about a bass that they had, he was relatively quick at getting back, and I'm sure he's probably busy. So I'm in no mad rush.
Yeah. There's a lot of throughput. I see also now they've got a guitar section there as well.
Right.
So-called guitar guys.
Guitar guys, bass bros. Yeah.
Yeah. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 12 on there. 2 pages. 12, 13, 14, 15 guitars.
So they diversify just a little bit because it keeps everything moving. Yeah, that's all right. That's all right.
I guess, and also you occasionally get people who are selling their collection. They bring guitars as well.
Sure.
You might as well tap into that.
I can tap into that super easy, considering where I am.
Quite, exactly.
There's not a big issue, no difficulty with that for sure.
No.
So.
But there we are.
Yes.
I'm just having a quick look on the amp section on Bass Brothers. A nice Trace Elliot AH250. Oh, actually, I've got some news for you. So last week we were talking to Ollie.
Oh, yes.
And he was talking about looking at a Trace Elliot combo that he bought.
Okay.
It went wrong. And I'm not laughing because it's funny. It's not funny, but we're talking about this and how you should put some money aside for old amps and what have you, because chances are, some of these are 40 years old. Or 30 years old, probably in that amplifier's case, and
right, for sure.
Getting these components, and he was saying to me, "Do I know anyone does amp repairs?" And it's like, I haven't used an amp repairer in 25 years. The last amp repairs I had done were on my old Hartkey amp, and any amp problems I've had since were on EBS stuff. And Bernie used to deal with it all because he was the distributor.
Sure.
And actually, last time I had a problem with an EBS amp, it went to Sound Technology, who were the UK distributors. So, I don't know who's good for Trace Elliot amp repairs in and around London. So
he would probably have to know if somebody could diagnose it for him. He could probably get parts and whatnot from the guys over here at British Audio.
I said to him, just go onto the Trace page on Facebook and people there will be far more knowledgeable than I will, because trying to repair those amps now is becoming...
It's a bugger.
A niche thing.
It is. Well, and
it shouldn't be. It shouldn't
right.
be, because there was so much of it. But the problem is, as time has gone by, the people who used to do amp repairs either now don't run businesses or they've died and passed away.
Something going on,
you got to find someone who's willing to do it. So much of it now, you forget. Class D's been around for like 20 odd years.
It has.
So people have just got into the habit of buying a £200 amp. When it goes wrong, I'll sling it and I'll buy another one.
Right. Yeah,
because the amp manufacturers, the amp repair blokes, certainly for bass amps, it's not so easy as just replacing a load of valves if it's solid state.
Not anymore.
So it's not easy.
No, I mean, well, the funny thing is you might get a laugh out of this. I had a number of different conversations with Mark Goodday, because he was, kind of saying, "Would you like to do Ashdown?" I'm like, "Does it sound like a Trace?" And it does, but it doesn't. There's, something a little
different thing.
It completely. So, the question that I had asked him at the time, this was at NAMM, one of the NAMM shows, was okay, if I am out on the road and I need backline, am I going to be able to find Ashdown in all these spots? And the answer was, so it's like, okay, I'm sure there's more now than there were, but I can guarantee you that I could step up anywhere, even in the smallest of the small places that has a production company, and they will have an SVT and an 8x10.
Yeah.
And I can do that automatically. There's nothing, no even second thoughts on that one. So
now with your tariffs thing, there probably won't be much Ashdown stuff.
Right. So that kind of put the stopper, if you will, on talking about that, because we were talking about making pink wrapped cabinets and all this kind of thing, And I mean, it'd be lovely.
How are Ampeg going to be able to do their business now that a lot of their stuff, I think, comes from China?
So Ampeg has stepped up because they were purchased by Yamaha.
Yeah.
So now they're made in Japan.
Okay.
So it's a little bit different. I don't know how the tariff structure works with Japan.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's thousands of them, literally thousands of them, floating around in the States, because literally every company that I've had to run on for backline has had at least 4 of them.
Okay, tariff for Japan is 24%.
Which isn't a lot in comparison to some of the others, but, so it may or may not radically affect that. But the reality of it is there's so many of them around, I don't really have to worry too much about it. because I can go collect one from SIR or go to which is Studio Instrument Rentals, for those of you who don't know, which has offices in all the big cities, and they provide backline for a lot of the big shows. So I can find them there. I was at a couple of years back. I was doing a country show at a very small town in South Georgia, just above Florida. Literally 5 minutes I'd jump across, and I'd have been in Florida with the alligators. Chomp, 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 chomp. So that's right. Look, yeah, you're going to have a little curry surprise here. Let's go. So, but they had SVTs and 810s, and it was super simple. So that's the big challenge. If I'm able to use an amp or be able to have an amp on stage, it's going to be something I can access easily anywhere.
Ollie's joined us.
Ollie, hey.
Tell us what's happened with your trace combo.
Yeah, tell us about the trace combo. We know about the JD. The Volcano Red looks. Yeah, it looks great, man. Looks great.
Tell us about this combo.
Or not.
I think it was like he was turning it on, it was working for about 3 or 4 minutes, and it would just go mad.
Would it just shut off?
Fizzle.
Or
trying to remember the message he sent. Hold on. Here we go. Manage playing for about 5 minutes before it starts to get a bit hairy.
Okay, so it starts to get fuzzy. Distorts.
Cuts in volume and high end.
Okay.
Let's wait for his reply.
Yeah. That kind of thing, because those have a lot more circuit board in them than the earlier ones.
Be dry joints, probably.
It could be dry joints.
A big job, because you can redo it. I remember seeing Chris Ward at the Bass Centre do it on a couple of amp boards before.
Yeah, you just resolder.
Yeah. But again, I'm wondering now if the thing, because trace stuff is old, maybe a lot of repair guys just go, I just don't want the grief of dealing with it. I don't know.
Could be. Well, the other thing is, if it's a valve amp, like you said earlier, the valve amps people will touch because it's something you can pop the valves out, you can rebias the thing and do all that.
It's like old cars. You can open the bonnet, you can get in and get your hands dirty, but
a
solid state.
That's why when you have a Class D and it goes south, you just kind of pinch it and get another one.
I've read a thing, actually, I stumbled across a Trace Elliot chat. I think it was on Facebook. And they were saying there are certain amps within the SMX range, and there's something on the back that tells you if it's one type of model or another type of model. I think it's a heat sink thing.
Yeah, probably.
And if you don't have the right model, they just shut off. And what they were trying to do was discern what was the indicator on the back panel. So if you went to look at one to buy second hand, you would know instantly if it was a good one or a bad one, because you didn't want to get stuck with a bad one.
Okay, so Ollie says, massive cut in volume. There it is. Top end as well, sounding slightly distorted. Hangs on a bit longer in a cool room, which means it's partially overheating.
Sounds like a fan might have stopped working.
That could be it. Right. Trust me, Ollie, we know you're hanging on there, lad. No worries.
Hanging on to the fan.
Yeah, I'm getting fanned, yes.
Yeah.
No worries.
It could be that if there's a fan in there, Ollie, it's not working. Or maybe the power's not getting to it. Usually that's a fairly simple mod. It's not a hard thing for a repair guy to replace. They just order in a new fan, stick it in, wire it up, and away you go.
Yep. Be lovely.
I don't know if there are fans in those. I don't know.
Which model is it? Because I don't refresh my memory, because I know I heard a tidbit on this, but Ollie, tell us which model it is.
So you might find something on Google. It might be a common problem.
Well, the GMPs are different than the AH. So I've had both. So
I think this was a 1x15 combo.
Okay.
Is it 115 or 112?
Because I had a 210 combo, I had a 410 combo. They weighed a metric ton, but you can't stand in front of it with 410s. You can't.
Loud.
So, oh yeah. Well, I mean, we were talking about Nick's stash of cabinets and whatnot. I had 12 of them because nobody wanted them.
And your floor didn't collapse?
Well, I was on a slab, so it was concrete underneath. I got a picture somewhere of it, but I had a pair of 2x15s. Okay, here we go. 712 SMC GP7. Okay. I would look at the fan.
Some guy, remember Nemesis? Yes.
Oh, yes.
Part of another company. Wasn't that part of Eden? Wasn't that a cheaper range?
It seems like I remember that.
Eden?
Seems like I remember that. Yeah, because they were carpeted in like a blue, and they had blue, lettering and all that stuff.
An 8x10 combo, as did Ashdown.
Right.
Because Mark King used them, and they sold a few. Now they come up second hand. No one wants to buy them because they weigh a ton. And you can't get them in many cars. That's the problem.
No, you need a van. You need a van for that.
8x10 combo with an amp on top.
Right.
Yeah. Ollie, it was 30 quid, so I'm not too upset. No, true, but if it's an easy repair,
spend 10 quid for a fan.
If the repair cost you 50 quid, you still got a decent combo for 80 quid.
Yeah, for under 100 anyway.
You could probably use that on a bunch of gigs. It'll pay for itself.
Yeah.
Or use it as your testing amp when you're doing stuff at home.
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't have to take it out on gigs. You can use something else.
Right. Then you can take it to a gig and it's ready to go, as opposed to, well, maybe if I wired this right, then this, some.
So, is there anything on Google anyone can see? Common problem with that amp? 712 SMC GP7.
I haven't looked, so I'm not cheating here. I want to say the GP7, I think, has a 7-band EQ, isn't it? And that was kind of one of those little moments.
I think it had a 7-band. Hang on.
Yeah.
SMC GP7. Oh, what was that? 712.
Let me look real quick.
There's a fault finding thing here on Bass Chat. I don't know if this is any use. Oh, hang on, Ollie. I'll copy these and copy them into the chat for you.
There you go. So there's a few people with similar issues. So obviously there's something that it may not be super common, but there's something about it that, caused some grief.
Well, again, it's so far down the road in terms of years that all these issues have turned up. So people, if there's like a central repository for all this stuff, which is Google, you can refer back to it. 715. So here we go. This might be. Oh, there's nothing there. Great. Thanks for that.
Have a look in your email.
I'm looking.
It's coming.
So's Christmas.
Indeed. This will get here first, though. Saint Nick won't be with us until that time.
Why not? No.
It's coming. You'll have a good chuckle at this.
You missed a cracker earlier.
Oh, yeah?
Bill Derbyshire sent us a picture of a bass that was made in China for Warwick. It's a big black W. And he put green neon DR strings on it. It's lovely, that.
Nice.
Subtle.
Indeed, yeah, very subtle, of course.
Yeah.
That'd be like me using
you sent
pink.
it to my regular. You sent it to my regular.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Big old collection.
All that.
That's
There's
heavy,
two of them.
Man.
Oh, trust me. All that, none of that.
the depth of those old trace cabs. I don't know if there's ever been a deeper cabinet other than maybe Marshall bass cabs.
Mm-hmm.
It was so deep.
Yep.
But that's what they were.
Oh, yes.
They were. And
Well, that's why they weighed so much.
In and out of pubs with them every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy
Those are
behavior.
two-man lifts.
Yeah, I'll put that up. Let me see.
I sent you 2 of them so you can see.
Hold on. There we go. Right, let me try and share this. People can see what we're talking about.
Oh, yes.
That's what he's talking about.
Oh, yes. There you go, Ollie.
That's nothing compared to Nick's collection. That's
no,
no, about a tenth.
See, that was only part of it, because if you notice, that is 2, 4, 6, 7 of the cabinets. There were 5 more.
Ollie said 100% I'm getting it repaired. I've had a look at, as there are a few people with a similar issue, but I'm yet to find a fix. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that it works to start with would tend to imply that there's a heat issue.
Yeah.
There's something going on, but it could be a dry joint that's causing all of that, because a dry joint sometimes will allow the amp to work and then just stop. And that's what's annoying. It's like, well, what's causing this?
Mm-hmm.
Been down that road before.
No, all that was not 30 quid,
No,
I promise.
30 quid.
Trust me, though,
Wasn't.
here's the funny thing, though. I mean, that was probably about 13 years ago, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe 10 to 13 years ago, something like that. And, I mean, where I live, nobody wanted trace. So for me to purchase even the 8x10 that was there, the 8x10 cost me $200. You know, because nobody, I mean, the thing weighed, like I said, you're carrying out some serious weight.
Yeah.
And the 115s, the 410s, everything being as strong as it all was, there you go. Yeah, you had to be ready to carry all that mess.
Yeah.
So, and I was ready, because
it makes me groan just looking at it, because I know what that would have weighed.
Oh, yes. Well, see, you know, notice in the one photo, you've got a bunch of pink things sitting there, you know. So you can give the time frame.
Yeah, crazy. Joe, your next big purchase is a custom Ashdown. I want to see if they can build me a blue face AVB, but with a D-class power. I'm sure they'll be able to. They carry well, they've got all the parts to build anything there.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah. You have to play Ashdowns. It's the closest thing to owning a brand new trace rig. No, it ain't.
I actually asked Mark Goodday about that. I asked him, I said, so if I'm used to the trace tone and I'm looking for the trace tone, which one of your amps will give me that? And he kind of, you know, kind of said, well, the Geezer does this, the Mark King does that. I'm like, you're not answering my question.
No, there isn't one.
No.
There isn't one. The fact that Mark King, after starting with Ashdown, went back to the guys that were still creating trace amps at that point and got them to make him one.
Yeah.
Before Ashdown decided they would do him a 12-band graphic and the red Princess amp. That tells you everything.
Enough,
the
yeah.
Ashdown is not designed for that. It's for Adam Clayton. It's for Biffy Clyro. It's for Foo Fighters. It's that tone. You won't get an Ashdown that sounds like a brand new trace rig, Joe.
No, the only way you can get that is buy a trace.
Yeah.
Spend a couple £100 and get a trace.
Yeah, and put some money aside for the repairs.
And all the naughty bits, yes. And then reach out to...
But you go to British Audio.
There it is.
And buy as many spares as you can, so you've got them.
Because they're the only ones who have all the remaining bits and bobs that when Trace closed the doors the first time after PV destroyed them.
Well, I think, like with the things like the coloured knob covers, they can just have those made in China. That's fairly simple.
Right.
The slider things, I've got a bag of them here. They're not exactly right. They're close, but they're not exactly right. But all the other bits, like the little push buttons and the little, it's a nightmare.
Right.
And such a great design, but time is passing, you know, things corrode and rubber rots and all those sort of things. And also, a lot of those amps now have got oxidized sockets. So you plug into the loops. Actually, this is something you could try, Ollie, regarding that amp. If it's got an send and return effects loop, get a patch cable, like effects patch cable, and plug them in and move them in and out before you turn the amp on. Do that. Turn the amp on, see if it improves it. If it doesn't, turn it off, put the patch cable in and leave it there and turn it back on. When I run my Aguilar DB751, I saw people looking at the photos I posted of the Queen gig I did the other day, and I've got a red patch lead in the effects loop on the front. They go, what's that for? It stops the jack sockets from oxidizing.
Yep.
I had a combo, my old Carlsberg combo went wrong with oxidized effects loop. You put cable in, moisture can't get in there.
Yep. Seals up the hole, basically. Covers the hole.
Who wants a sealed hole, frankly? Joe, I just handle the weight of those old... you mean you just hate the weight of those old trees?
Handle it.
What's the closest amp, in your opinion, you could purchase with a D-class power amp stage? Not that's going to sound like a Trace. Trace had its sound. I've had this argument. Well, it's not an argument. Not with you, Joe, obviously.
Discussion, yeah.
I've had this argument with people, you know, looking at the Trace Elf and going, well, I bet it doesn't sound like Trace of old. Well, how can it? How can it? The old Trace head, you want that sound, you got to buy that amp. That's the deal. Those components, the build quality, it's the sum of the parts. You can't
really
put that
is.
in a Class D box. A lot of the Trace sound came from the power stages they had. And the way it was all designed, there was a lot of clever circuitry going on there. Really clever. The way they designed their boards, you've got this thing feeding into that source and that stage, and that's how it worked. You won't get a Trace sounding amp with a Class D power amp stage. Doesn't exist. No one's come up with one. There's no modeling that sounds like it. You want Trace
at all,
you got to buy an old Trace amp. Even the ones that came out in the mid 2000s, the new PV version of Trace didn't sound anything like old Trace. Build quality was crap compared to the old things were bomb proof. They were tanks. You know, the sliders originally on the old Traces were like a rotary metal slider, like old mixing desks where you used to have the things that would slide down. That's exactly what the Trace stuff was like. It was heavy duty, it was metal. And then over time things got replaced with plastic and durable sort of grade
cut
materials.
cost.
Yeah. So you want that, Joe. You're going to have to decide. Well, you've got to decide. You either want the old style Trace or you want something lightweight that's kind of similar in terms of tone shaping, but you won't get the Trace tone. Everyone's been after it for nearly 30 years. It doesn't exist.
No. The only you can get close. The closest I've come to without having to pack up an AH500 is I went and found there was a rack unit that was just the preamp.
Yes.
You remember that?
Yes.
So it was
a
a
box. There's no lugs, nothing on it. Yeah.
Right. So you could put it up in a rack, and it was just the metal box of the preamp with the gain stages and all the EQ and all that.
And then
I ran that
power amp to go with it.
Well, exactly. So when I couldn't find the Trace power amp, I tried a different one, and I kind of got it. I got the first phase of it, but you know, because I could run headphones into that, and I could listen just through that little preamp. And no, I mean it's close, and you're saving some weight because you've got this thing in a 4-space rack, and then you've got a little, even like one of those little bitty quilter power amps would run this thing. And you could get something, but it wasn't exact. And if you were looking for just that one thing to your thing, you've got to purchase an old Trace if that's it.
There you go. Joe, do Ashdown have a more retro tone?
Retro defined as what?
Warm. Fluffy and warm. Yes, that's most of their stuff sounds like that. I've never played an Ashdown big head. Yeah, if you can get a UK built Evo or maybe an ABM. I don't know. The problem with Ashdown is they produce so many items all the time. It's hard to keep up.
Yeah.
Let's have a look on their what they've currently got. Here we go. Bass amps. Looking for heads. Stay away from the CTMs. They're full valve affairs. Loud, extremely loud, but they're not trace. They're full on rock monsters. The Interstellar, I know nothing about that. I think that was designed for Guy Pratt. The Geezer Butler, again, rock, and a bit more rock. ABM Evo 5, maybe.
I've tried a couple of those. If you want really warm, fluffy tune, you probably want an orange.
Yeah.
Or you could go with a high watt.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I mean, Glenn Hughes with his high watts.
I mean, if you're you're saying you want trace, but then you want fluffy and like that, and that's not what trace ever was. Trace, until they brought out the valve heads, the idea of trace was it was huge power stages with loads of headroom and top range clarity. That's what the whole design ethos of trace was, which is why all the rock players shunned it. They didn't want anything to do with it. They wanted dirt and grit and ampeg and high watt.
Oh, yes.
And all of that. So you either went down that route, or you went for trace, or you went down like PV route, which was like the cheaper halfway house between like Marshall, ampeg, and or then if you wanted grit, but you wanted like trace levels of power, Mesa Boogie, which is where the Mesa 400 cleaned up.
Oh, definitely.
Choice.
Definitely.
That even bypassed, in a lot of cases, that bypassed trace, but gave you the warmth and power of Ampeg.
And it would blow your head clean off because of how potent they were. The trace, I always figured out that the trace amps, they would write on the back, kind of the output wattage, you'd see 300 and whatnot. They were way more than that. Mm-hmm. That was a conservative estimate.
Mark Gooday says, because he always had this point that people were claiming output levels, certainly on Class D, but I think certain other manufacturers, I didn't really want to get into that argument, they were claiming power rating. Well, it was TC actually. Mm-hmm. They were claiming power rating, and we went, there's no way that amp is that loud, because we make amps that are 100 watts. You've got a visitor.
That's my son. That's Mike. Hello.
Hey, man. You good?
He says, you doing good?
Yeah. How about yourself?
Yeah, rocking and rolling.
He's my piano guy.
Got it.
Oh, yeah.
But they,
I see you're busy.
they would argue that TC would say their power ratings were 1200, and Mark Gooday would say, well, we've got a 250 watt amp here that's louder than your amp. So there's no way that's 1200 watts. It was people making spurious claims to be the loudest amp. But there's some messages here. Wasn't Trace bought out before PV? Yes, they were sold to
Gibson.
in America.
Yes, they were here.
And basically Gibson bought them and then buried them into the ground. Yes. And then PV bought the Trace brand from Gibson and resurrected it in around about 2006.
Yep, and they were okay, but they weren't Trace.
They weren't, no.
Like you said
it's
earlier.
Like with Trace Elf, it's a brand name now. It's not a company.
Right. I had one of those PV versions of the AH 600, and I got it for 20.
There you go.
And I had a quick fix.
Joe's asking, did Trace transform into Ashdown? No. So basically, Gibson bought out Trace. So the people at Trace were working for Gibson. Mm-hmm. Gibson then buried the company in much the same way that Fender bought out SWR and Gens-Benz to obliterate their competition, and then buried them.
Yes.
So the Trace staff eventually all left by hook or by crook. Some retired and what have you. Mm-hmm. Mark Gooday had already left at that point, and then went to set his own company up, which was Ashdown. So that's sort of that story. There might be a lot more flesh on those bones that I don't know about, but Mark Gooday is the man to tell that. I don't know. He was
Mm-hmm.
there. He was at the you know, the spearhead of it all happening.
Yep.
Waggo Howard Hanahu. That pink beard, props, my friend. There you go. Someone likes your beard.
Cheers for that.
There you go. Joe, I really wanted that hi-fi trace sound. I just was guessing what an Ashdown sounded like.
Buy a trace.
Get yourself, I
Get you a trace.
suggest, Joe, get yourself off to Ashdown. Their showroom out in Essex, Colchester, I think, is great. They've got everything there. They will welcome you warmly. You can try everything out, have a chat with them. Who knows? Maybe they could make you your own custom amp.
Take your bass with you.
Sort of thing. Take your bass with you.
Take your bass with you.
Talk to them. They're you know, welcoming. They will talk to you about what your requirements are, and then it's a case of sitting down and saying, can you make this, and if you can, how much is it going to cost? And if you don't want to spend much money, don't even start going down this route. But you're looking for a hand-built amp for yourself, you're probably looking in excess of like well over $1,000. So it's up to you whether
Easily
you want to build an amp that you know is for you. But if you don't and you want to spend 150 quid, well, it's not going to happen. So I don't know what your budget is.
You can get an old trace for 150 quid, and then you have to drop another 100 into it to get it right.
There's that. But there's also, if you know you're going to do loads of work and utilize this, whether it's recording or gigs or whatever, spending £1,500 on an amp is small fry. I bought 2 EBS Fafners that cost me over £1,200 each. They more than made their, you know, paid me back over all the gigs I did. So that's how you kind of got to weigh it up. But obviously, I understand you're not a professional musician gigging like 5 times a week. It's up to you. So if you want a nice boutique amp made for you to your requirements, they'll probably do that.
Mm-hmm.
And you can pick, you can sit there with the guy that builds all this stuff, and you can pick what you want and how you want it to, you know, what facilities and features do you want. But it isn't going to be cheap. That's the thing. So they're making one. They're making one for you. So, but yeah, if you're harking back to that, getting that trace hi-fi sound, there ain't anything that does it on the market. I'm sorry. So all these tone, you'd think, you know, it's a very popular tone. There's got to be a company that makes it. They don't. After Trace came SWR, then came Eden. All the time you had Galley and Kruger. You got Mesa Boogie 400s. You know, all of these amps have a different signature tone. And for years, loads of us were tracing no tone. We just wanted clean bass tone.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't want a signature to it. But as it turns out, as I've got older and experienced all these amps, that doesn't exist. You get manufacturers that say, we've got the cleanest bass sound ever. Well, yeah, but it still sounds like your brand's equipment. That's the deal. If you want total clarity, then you've got to just go through power amps and speakers, and that's it. No preamp.
Yep.
That's the only way you can do it. It's like being in a studio and plugging into the desk. You still got the coloration of the preamps on the channels. So at what point do you not have any residual tone? You know?
That's like selecting your pickups. You want Bartolini, that's going to color. You want EMG that does this. Do you want
their thing?
All that kind of thing. It
The
just depends on what you're
cleanest
looking
thing
for.
you can get is a piezo, and that isn't without its failings. Joe says he wants to spend upwards of £1,000. Go and take a visit. Go and see them. Go and see
Have
Mark.
a go.
Go and see Dan.
Yep.
See Dave. Sit in their showroom and try everything. You will soon find things that work or don't work. If you walk away and think this isn't for me, you can take that brand off your list.
Right. Try something else at that point.
That's it. There's plenty out there.
Oh,
There
yes.
really is. So, Joe, I think the old traces just sounded magic. They did. That's why everyone. That's why collectors want them. But the problem is those components are dying.
Mm-hmm.
The little elements and all the little electronics, diodes, capacitors, they're all dying. And this is the problem. All these amps now are starting to get generic issues.
Yep.
So you, as we've said, and this is what led to this discussion, we said to Ollie last week, if you're going to buy second-hand trace, you better put, it doesn't matter that you get it for 50 quid or 100 quid. you're going to need to put a couple of hundred aside for repairs because they're going to get them, whether you like it or not. That's
Yeah, it's all mostly in the power section because the pre section is pretty simple. I mean, I had one at British Audio some years back, and we went through it. They opened it up while I was there, and we looked through everything. And the pre section is super simple in comparison. It's the power and the gain stages, what you were talking about earlier, that create the issues when things start to come apart.
Mm-hmm. And it's age, you know. Some of these things you just can't get. It's what it is.
Yeah.
You know. Let's have a look. Where are we here? We're going to wrap up soon because it's getting near 11:30.
There you go. Ollie's on again. The only amps that truly sound like a trace is a trace. 'Tis true.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, a JD sounds like a JD. I won't dispute that one a bit. You know, Ollie, you know that I'm not going to, because I know.
Yeah. All this gear, all this bass exotica that Mark King led us down that road, all these things sound as they sound. It's very hard to replicate. You know, Line 6 tried to replicate an alembic within their variacs, and to a degree they got there. But it's not the same. It is not the same. You can't make... There's so much electronics work and woodworking and hardware and design that goes into these bass exotica that you can't replicate it. You just can't. You can't do it. So you want an alembic, you need to buy an alembic. You want a status sound, you need to buy a status. You want a JD, it's got to be... You want a wall, you got to buy a wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want an NS2 Spectre, it needs to be an NS2 Spectre. There's something about that combination of timber, woodworking, finishing, hardware, pickups, electronics. You want it, you got to buy it.
Right.
There's no sidestepping this issue. I've seen it for 30 years. Everyone thought the Roland V bass was going to be the solution, where you could buy one bass, put that pickup in, and it would sound like every bass on the market. Didn't happen.
Nope.
Didn't happen. I can remember being at a trade show and someone going, "This is the revolution. We can finally make any bass sound like all the other basses." No, you can't. No, you can't. Doesn't happen. You got to sit there and go through all the effects and all the tweaking, and even then, I couldn't make a jazz sound like a Stingray. Just couldn't do it.
No. Now there are anomalies, but
it wasn't a modeling box.
Right. There's anomalies on everything that you can. Certain guitars will have a sound of something else, and I mean, I have examples, but you know, if you want it to sound like a JD, so Ollie's got his soon-to-be volcano red JD coming back to him. He wants it to sound like a JD, so he's not going to pop in some pickups or a preamp of John East or something. He's not going to do that because he's looking for that one tone. And when the bass like the JD is known for it, why would you go with anything else?
Well, correct. You're just diluting the magic of it. Joe says, how much did the trace cabs contribute? Massively.
Huge.
As I was saying to Jamie a minute ago, look at the depth of the old school trace cabs. They're almost like two cabs in terms of depth.
Yeah.
That was part of what gave them, especially if you're using something like a JD with thin, 30-90 strings. The reason Mark got so much bass end out of them was because he had those cabs. You can't get away from physics, and I don't care.
No.
Alex at Bareface will say, "Oh, well, ours can do this." That's all fine. I take it all on board. You cannot get around physics. Physics is physics. It's science. It's written in stone. That's the way those things are.
Yep.
The bigger the cabinet, the more bass frequency, the more mid you're going to get out of it. For years, those cabs didn't have tweeters. Once they had tweeters, that's when you got the really hi-fi Mark King tone. But for years, he didn't have that. So if you hark back to like 81, 82, 83, 84, those trace cabs didn't have tweeters, which is why the JD sounded as they did coming through those systems.
And every time you get that, and every time you get one of those
JD now through his gear, it doesn't sound like the old school JDs. It just doesn't.
Because the Mark bass doesn't sound like a trace.
No.
And also, he's not using the Yamaha 1010 chorus either.
No.
So I mean, but I had the pair of 215 trace, and they were twice as wide as every other 215 I'd played through. I mean, as far as depth, to your point, they were deep, and so you'd get some just massive lows out of them if you knew what you were doing with playing with all the buttons and everything. So, yeah.
But then compare that tone with when he started using I think they were 2/8 cabs with 2 tweeters. I mean, it's just top end trebliness.
It's horrid.
It's taken the bass sound into a level. It's like no one wants it. Oh well, we've all got one on stage, and it's like, and that's
right.
not the So that's all very nice, but what about your bass level bass tone? Is what go with the bass into the amp into the cab, right? So that's what we're left with. So you're running through multiple 2x8 cabinets, but actually I think by 91, 92, 93, 94 everything was going into amps and then straight out front. No one was really getting any cabinet reinforcement because they took a lot of the cabinets away from the stage to reduce the amount of bass clutter.
Yes.
Along with having the bass synth and bass sequences going.
So, yeah, there's that. So, Joe, to your question, the cabinets do contribute a lot. And I mean, if you compare, and I've done this, if you compare the Trace 810 that I had with an Ampeg 810, because I've had a lot of those over the years, you would think they'd be really close, and they're night and day. There's a huge difference even in a box that large, just because of, Mike said it, physics, science. She blinded me with science. There's a whole lot of things in there. When the guy called Clive Buttons designed all the Trace stuff, he's also the guy who's designed.
This is where Nick would be very useful because he knew all this stuff like the back of his hand.
Well, see, that's the thing.
We got any of it written down.
We did all that. He and I. That's where besides the JDs and whatnot. I mean, because he knew
a lot of it because he used to work at his dad's music store.
Right.
So they had all the Trace stuff. So every time a new range of Trace stuff came in, Nick would have first-hand experience of it.
And he'd have a go as soon as it hit the door.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I get that. Well, so some guy says his Fender basement cab is pretty solid. A lot of those are. It really depends on how old it is, because if you go back and you get the really old ones, like the 70s model with the black tweed and all that kind of thing, those are really thin because they designed them as guitar amps. And you could run a bass through it, but you didn't get that amazing low end, even with flats on a P bass. It wouldn't give you that response that you were looking for, at least, in my ears anyway.
Agreed.
So, yeah.
Agreed. Right. I think we're going to wind up here. It's 33 minutes past 11. Time for bed.
Kiss your JD and go to rest.
Quite exactly. Mate, pleasure to see you. We'll talk in the week, no doubt.
Deal.
And
thank you all for hanging with us.
I should announce before we go. So next week's live chat will happen and will take place. I need to limit it to 2 hours. I have to get to bed by 10 o'clock next week because at 4 o'clock on the Wednesday morning, I've got to get up and drive down to the South Coast because I've got to take my mum to hospital.
Oh,
so
right,
next
right.
week's will be a truncated 2-hour live chat. We'll pack in all the goodies, all the goodness, but we're finishing bang on 10, so I can get 6 hours of sleep before I've got
have a cup of tea and go to sleep.
All of that.
Right.
So
right.
on that note, good night to you, young man. I'll speak
Cheers,
to you
sir.
shortly.
Indeed.
Take it easy. Boys and girls, thank you very much for a fabulous live chat. Pleasure as always. Thank you to all new subscribers. Thank you for the likes, the shares, the comments. Fabulous work. Good stuff. Videos going up. Well, I'll try and get something up tomorrow. Cheers, Ollie. Cheers, Joe. Some guy, good to see you.
You all are so. Welcome. You guys are excellent. You guys are excellent.
Very much. I will catch you next Tuesday, same time, same place, 8 o'clock here for live chat 113. There we go.
Cheers.
Have a great week. Enjoy your bass playing. I'll see you in a couple of days. Take it easy. All the best.
All good.